Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. Pursuant to MGL 7C3820F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may make a video, audio recording of an open session of a meeting of a public body or may transmit the meeting through any medium. At the beginning of the meeting, the chair shall inform other attendees of any such recordings. This meeting is being recorded by the Berkshire Edge, CTSB, in the town of Great Barrington. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive permission of the chair. The listing of agenda items are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Okay, so A on the agenda is a continued discussion and possible vote on debt exclusion versus override. We accomplished that last night, so we will go to the next item, which is votes on the proposed budget for fiscal year, which we did those last night too.
We did the operating,
Yeah.
but I included and printed out for everyone a copy of the draft warrant, which I felt would be a little easier for us to go through each article and talk about it that way, because those are the items within the budget that you have to actually vote on, so then we don't miss anything in that discussion. So, and you'll see in the draft warrant, there is at the bottom of each article where FinCom, and I can keep track of FinCom and Selectboard votes, and that will also be included for the actual publication for voters to see. So, and I will be also creating a cheat sheet with the table of contents so they can look at it and see and then go to the pages where they're located. So it's going to be a little different format. You see that already with what I'm presenting, but I figure, Steve, if you're
I'm good.
okay, if you're good with that, then we'll go through, and I created slides for each one so the audience can follow along at home. Did also keep track of all the slides from yesterday to go over, so we have access to that if you want, okay? Just go quickly through. I apologize for giving everybody whiplash. Visual whiplash. Okay, Article 1. All right, so Article 1 is the authorization to pay prior fiscal year invoices. Last night I discussed that briefly, that we have two different departments that have FY25 invoices that are remaining to be paid, and this requires a town meeting vote to do that. There's approximately $5,381 from the fire department, but the remainder of the $52,000 is from Public Works, and you can see all of the vendors on the screen that the monies are owed.
So discussion on this.
I have a question. Why are those invoices coming over to the next year? What's the reason for that?
Yeah, so after July 15th, we're unable to process the prior year bills unless the money has been encumbered, and it wasn't encumbered.
It wasn't encumbered.
Right.
I see, okay.
Anyone else? I'll start with Chris, a motion from your group.
Yes, I move that we recommend to pay authorization to pay prior fiscal year's invoices in the amount of $52,524.45. Do I have a motion? I need a motion. Oh, I moved, sorry,
Yeah,
and a second.
It's a second.
And for voting, Michelle?
Yes, yeah.
Aye.
Madonna, aye. Milena?
Aye.
I am aye. Ann O'Dwyer is not yet here.
I make a motion to make the same motion for the select board.
Do you have a second? Any discussion? Roll call. Phil.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Garfield. Aye. Aaron. And it's unanimous.
Okay, next page, budget adjustments, also, I'm sorry, as a reminder, or just to point out, on the warrant also will be different, is it actually an explanation that people can look at in the handbook when they look at it online. So there will be a little bit more description as to what exactly the purpose for each article, so it gives a little bit more transparency in the process. So the budget adjustments, these are for FY '26 now. And we have 3 items, Public Works, Snow and Ice, which we discussed last night. It is roughly, we'll get a better number, but as of right now, it's fluctuating. We're finalizing all of the salt and everything. But it is definitely, 325 is a good comfort zone. We're at around, I think, 310 as of right now. So, and then the firefighter salaries, as I mentioned last night, this is a contractual, we're in the middle of negotiations, and this is an obligation that for FY '26. And then wastewater treatment plant, actually, there was a mishap from last year. It was an oversight for FY '26. It wasn't on the town meeting warrant in anticipation for last year's town meeting. So that is something that we have to, it's an obligation that we have for the Clean Water Trust.
Questions?
I'm sorry, can we just review what the FY '26 firefighter salary line item?
That is their salaries for this current fiscal year, bringing them up to a new level,
So we have we have reached a collective bargaining agreement with them,
no, not officially yet,
but this is essentially reserving
yes.
for the increase in compensation.
Phil, it's traditional that you put in contingency any contracts that are under negotiation.
Okay,
Right.
all right, gotcha, all right, thanks.
Anyone else? Have a motion?
Okay, I move to recommend that the town approve Article 2 for budget adjustments in the amounts of $325,000 for Public Works, Snow and Ice, $140,000 for fiscal year '26 firefighter salaries, and $286,360 for wastewater treatment plant MCWT debt service. Do I need to be more specific in my motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
So for votes, Anne?
I will pass.
Okay, Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna? Elena?
Aye.
And I am aye.
I will make the same motion for the select board.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Bill?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Gabriel?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous.
Keeping within FY '26 articles, this is Article 3 is for the accounting investigation for the capital projects and the procurement matters. So we're setting aside out of free cash $1 million to put into a special reserve fund. This reserve fund actually will be under the authorization of the Finance Committee. So the reporting and everything out will have to go before the Finance Committee to actually authorize any spending from this. So it makes sure that we can have a public discussion about all of this.
I have a question about it, and I apologize because I was not at that meeting, you guys were discussing it. So how many have you uncovered so far, and how far is the project right now? 50%, 75%, just to give me an idea.
The first one's was really very, there were a lot of different layers, unfortunately, to it, and it's hard to describe. Yeah, it was very hard to sort out and make sure that we could get all the information. And so as of right now, there's a 748,000, and there's multiple different amounts that are taken out for just the one project.
Mhm.
So we've tailored it back to not be so encompassing over 5 years. We're just now looking back almost even just a year's worth to get a better sense of the practices, so we can see some patterns that we need to be, to actually put into place for things. But we don't know what our financial obligations are. This is just a placeholder for the initial.
So you don't really know whether this is enough or too much at this point? It's too early.
It's too early.
Okay, and when you say you're just looking 1 year back, or are you gonna be looking more than 1
It
year?
depends on how much money that they're spending. They're really being frugal. Our auditors are being very frugal in this, which is very refreshing. They understand our fiscal restraints and our budget, and I told them that this is all we have for spending on this project. So, yeah, so I don't.
So are your initial plan is to do it for a year?
Yes, and then if we
Okay.
have to, we will go back.
You will make a decision later on. Okay, thank
But
you.
the obligations have not been determined if the town is obligated or if it is at a different. Mass general law is very, very specific about ways of projects being
Approved.
authorized or who has the authorization. And if the town manager's signature is not on there, depending on what type of project, it may relieve us from
Right.
the obligation.
Okay.
Because you might have project managers that should have had extra oversight. So then the responsibility may shift away from the town. So it doesn't mean that, this is just a placeholder,
Okay,
okay?
I move that we recommend the.
No, I thought you were asking a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm done. She answered my question.
Okay,
If
so,
anybody has any more questions.
yeah, go ahead, Michelle, and then Ann.
Thank you. The financial obligations, can you give an example of that? You know, what are the is it going to be fines? Are we going to get fined, or is this money owed vendors?
It could be any combination of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do have vendors that have not been paid, because, I didn't see the process. This is what triggered the reason why I came and asked for the reserve fund transfer. So it has been confirmed that my suspicions were correct, that the process had not followed the proper procedures in receiving authorizations from the town manager. So as far as fines, I don't know if even if the attorney and the IG's office that is involved with procurement, if they're going to look at this in a new way or critique this in any way, I don't know. Just the process of us going through this, I think also shows and demonstrates that we are aware of the situation and that we're putting in controls for the future, so that we aren't just shoving it aside and continuing bad practices. So, but it could be attorney fees, it could be any number of costs associated with this, but it's definitely involving vendors, unfortunately, in past projects.
But it's only going back 1 year.
As of right now, like yeah, because we're looking at three different buckets of types of procurement or areas of procurement where it is. So the Department of Public Works, and then we have CPC, and then Affordable Housing Trust with the Prosperity Way project. Okay. So, because that was something that was brought up, and we're going to make sure that there is an oversight of a third party looking at it, just to make sure that if there was anything done not in alignment with what the rules and the laws are, then we'll identify that.
Ann, did you have a question? Anyone else?
Yeah. So do you anticipate having a final report from the auditor or an interim report for town meeting?
Yes, they did actually look at this article and the explanation for me. But we are gonna be meeting with them early next week just to get an update on this.
Okay, because I support all your comments and all the work you're doing on this, but this one little paragraph sort of raises a million questions.
The final report will come to the select board.
When is that? did mention, I think last night on the report, I think at one of our many meetings,
Yeah, it will be coming, I just don't have a certain date yet, so.
by summer.
I'm hoping,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I
I
mean,
was
our
I
goal
was just-
was, right, our goal was to actually have this done before town meeting. But this one project, unfortunately, because it is extremely complicated on how the actual process went. They're trying to map out everything, and projects were basically looped in that weren't associated with the original procurement. There is change order, there was no documentation, but then it was very complicated, so it's taken unfortunately a lot longer for just this one project for us to dissect.
May I make a comment?
Yeah, of course.
To bring this to light, I can see supporting the $1 million. Especially if it's going to be before the finance committee, but you're going to be looking at a new finance committee after May 12th, okay? The free cash, that's the taxpayer savings account.
I know.
And we are trusting the people at town, as taxpayers, the people at town hall to know the laws, to know the rules. And I want some accountability.
100%.
And a lot of raises are being done, salaries are being increased and everything like that. And I'm going, if I cost my employer, a public entity, $1 million, I'd be out the door in 5 minutes. I have a real problem with this, and I'm caught between a rock and a hard place because I want to keep it in the light and keep it for discussion between the finance committee and the select board. And the only way to do that is to appropriate the money. But the other half of me, my bricklayer father's daughter, is saying like hell. So I have a real problem with this. Like I said, we're being asked right now to trust people, trust us here, trust the select board, trust it. And yeah, but at the same time, we're $1 million in the hole that could take the edge off the taxpayer's bill. And instead, we're going to be doing this. So I just,
You're preaching to the choir, you're right.
yeah.
No, for sure.
All right, Michelle, I know it
And
is.
it's not under your watch. I just want to make very clear to people.
I identified this in less than 5 days of my first day.
And I
So, and
I
red
applaud
flags
that
came
you
up
did
and
that, yeah.
I didn't
and that
even
must have been
hesitate.
painful for you to.
No, actually, it's not, because
Yeah.
when you do the right thing, you know it's the right thing,
Yeah.
and you just move forward.
Yeah.
So, and we're all adults in this room, and we all have to take responsibility, and that's my responsibility, is be honest with you as well as the community as to what is going on, where we need to make adjustments and improve. And that's why you all hired me, to make sure that you are aware of what's happening with your own municipal dollars. And so, again, this is just a placeholder. Our auditors are very, this is what they do. And they will tell us and guide us of what our responsibility is financially or not.
So it's
Yeah.
potential that we will not have $1 million in
Yeah, so it could be
obligation.
something
That's a
That's
potential.
correct.
But we have
different.
748.
No, that is actually yet to be determined.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, so one of the change orders was for $748,000. And that was not, it has been determined that did not get the town manager's authorization for actually moving forward with that change order. So that part of not having the town manager's signature, that is where the nuance of where the auditor and our attorneys are gonna guide us in those things. So, but that is one out of 12 change orders in this project. So,
Okay, just that particular project, not overall.
that's correct.
Okay.
Can I ask you, you're saying that one changeover was for the value of $700,000?
Yes, ma'am.
I just did a
Eileen.
PO for 67 and had to get 2 signatures.
Eileen, the public hearing is closed, but do you have a question about like technical, are you able to hear and all that?
Well, you're going to be voting.
Excuse me?
Since you're going to be taking a vote on this, I can ask.
Well, the
Oh,
public hearing is closed.
Is it, did Liz just say that there $748,000 check was written without?
No,
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 no.
Oh, good. I'm glad I checked.
yes.
Too.
Thank you, Eileen.
What was the amount?
There were change orders for that amount.
Ah. From 12 checks.
No checks.
No.
Steve? Are we gonna just keep taking this and?
This is a clarification. I'd rather have that clarified than not clarified.
Okay, but
Okay,
this.
there's also some people saying they're having trouble hearing. So if they're having trouble hearing, because there's interference on these owls, I'd rather do that.
So just to double confirm,
Yes.
so for the town meeting, it'll either be a final audit report or some type of preliminary interim audit report that will be available for all the residents.
I can't determine that, yeah, I can't, I want the audit done correctly, I don't want it rushed, I wanna make sure that they are accurate in guiding us as to what their determination is.
Okay, it will be a challenge
It is.
for you in particular, I think, if all we have for town meeting is that one paragraph.
Yeah.
Captain Obvious comment there.
Mhm.
All right. I know that you know, I know that you know.
Sorry, unless other people have anything.
any other questions? I move that we recommend the approval of Article 3, appropriate free cash for potential capital project obligations in the amount of $1 million. Do I have a second? So Anne, Michelle,
No.
Madonna,
Aye.
Milena,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Roll call, Phil.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
No. Aye.
And I, it's 4-1. Okay. Now we are on Article 4.
Article 4. You'll be happy to know that Ally and I went through and found borrowing authorizations that are not needed to be still out in the world there. So we're gonna rescind, this is to rescind, borrowing authorizations. One is for the community preservation and memorial field improvements. There's a remaining balance of $48,420. And then we have a total of 6 projects that also rescind of borrowing: the public restrooms, the police station generator, transfer station kiosk that we had discussed earlier yesterday, the town hall buildings and grounds improvements, park improvements, and the DPW excavator. The one that stands out, obviously, there are actually a couple, the public restrooms and the town hall buildings and grounds improvement. Those actually were not borrowed in any way, so we're gonna rescind the borrowing on that, specifically because I don't know if that's really when the money was actually appropriated for that project. I really don't know if it's appropriate now to be using. And I do not like actually having blank kind of undefined terms when you do borrowing. It should be for a very specific purpose and in phases, so then I don't have enough information here, and because I actually did get review from the DPW director back in February that this could be rescinded, we're going to do that, just so.
So I have a question about it. So this seems like a very substantial amount for town hall buildings and ground improvements, but we don't really know.
There was plans, that's not totally accurate.
Yes.
There were very specific plans that the select board have not moved on because it was actually more than $570,000.
And what was it for
It
then?
was to redo take away the circular driveway at the front of the
Oh,
town hall
okay.
because there's some sort of a hazard there. and to redo the back also. But in light of everything,
Oh,
I think
okay,
it's
so
really
nothing,
low on
nothing
our list.
significant,
Yeah.
important,
No,
yeah,
no, and-
okay.
And to be honest, those are things that I think if we're gonna, this will open up
Yeah, yeah,
more
yeah,
borrowing
yeah.
of flexibility for things. And one of the capital items that you'll be looking at or considering tonight is the water infiltration. That'll be for this
Hmm.
building, for the fire station, as well as town hall and Mason. So once we do that testing, if that is something that the town will consider approving, and if we go forward with that project, it'll determine more of the scope of what the actual facility structure, the asset of it, and what we need to be investing our money and when, the timelines and phasing those things out. So, yes, that's my recommendation.
I think the important thing, besides everything Lisa said, these borings are from 21 and 22. We didn't do them since then. We should rethink it and have it approved again at another town meeting if we still think it's important.
There are still projects out there that have been borrowed and there's enough to do, so we're gonna keep on it and keep closing out as we go.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that it would be a good procedure to have if the project doesn't happen in the last 2 years. Off it goes. I mean, that's obviously, it's not, critical, frankly. So, yeah.
I move that we recommend approval of Article 4, rescinding old borrowing authorizations in the amount of $702,451. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Milena?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call. Phil. Aye. Ben.
Aye.
Joshua.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
And aye. It's unanimous.
The next article is, just to fix, keep as is, that determining what the select board salary is. So this is a two-prong type of motion, not motion, there's two articles. Article 5 is to actually set the salaries, and then Article 6, which is in the operating, which you voted on last night, that actually includes the appropriation of the salaries for the elected officials. This is a standard article that has been on your warrant.
Any
questions?
discussion?
Did we, small dollar amount, but is this including, there also the 2% COLA in this one?
No,
No, we don't. We don't.
that's from last year.
All right, good. All right, good.
I listened.
Any other questions? Select board, do you remember, do we normally vote on this one?
Didn't we say something?
Yeah, I think we leave it to the finance committee on this one. I think on the next one we will,
Okay,
but I think for this one, we just let the finance
sure.
committee.
Yeah.
Just appearance, we could. but-
Okay.
May I?
Yes, please.
I move that the Finance Committee recommend approval of Article 5, elected officials' salaries in the amount of $24,500 or $4,900 per select board member. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Milena?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Article 6, just as a recap, we did vote on this, or you voted on this last night. We have the general government, the public safety, Department of Public Works, cultural, recreation, human services, and then miscellaneous. Seven is the discretionary services and community partnerships. This is the special article that is teasing out the expenditures from the operating budget that we discussed and putting it into an actual special article. This also includes from last night's vote of putting the parking enforcement officer, including that in this line. So we have the lifeguards, skate park monitor, the Housatonic Waterworks legal fees, co-responder program, parking enforcement officer, and the two leases, one for the VFW and the American Legion.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Just for clarification, we've been looking at a lot, the the skate park monitor, that's more than one position, isn't it? From what they were talking about.
That's contracted
last-
services through
Right.
Railroad Street Youth, it's more than
Right,
one,
it's
yes,
more than one
yeah,
person, yeah.
yes.
I have a question about the legal fees. How much have we spent so far on Housatonic? Because I have a real issue. We are spending certain amounts here, and they are not small amounts, but we have no transparency, right? I mean, everything is, we don't know whether things are moving forward or they are being stalled or whatever.
No, there is an update that will be released in like the next day, but, we're gonna bring up the actual amounts, because just like we had discussed and shown, we pulled out actually.
Right, I know
all
you
of
did,
these.
yeah.
So we are keeping track. of
So how
these
much
as
have we
we
spent so far?
Bring that up, just a moment.
Yeah.
I can say mine.
Actually, while you're bringing up the lifeguards, so where are we getting the lifeguards again?
So the contract is with Berkshire South.
Oh, with Berkshire South.
Well, I always look at anybody else with questions.
I have just a question and comment about one of these.
Yeah, go ahead.
The co-responder program, we've talked about it multiple years now, and I just want to put my full support behind it. I think it's an invaluable service to our community and to our police force. And I just hope that not only everybody here, but all the voters that show up really fall behind it, because I think it just, in today's world, it is a necessity to give this tool to our police department and to our community.
Echo pretty much the same thing. My concern is that one person? $300,000?
I'm sorry, Joe.
Is that just a salary for one person as a co-responder?
Yes, it is.
Could you explain?
$100,000.
That is what was provided to me.
For one person?
Is that with
Um,
benefits?
Oh,
That it is a grant program. I mean, the chief is here, he can answer the technical questions.
It's just real quick. So the co-responder program, obviously, we've had it on and off for like 5 years. Funding sources have kind of come from different areas. We're getting to a point now where we just can't find a stable funding source. That's why we're trying to get it here to make sure it's stable and it's locked down. The $100,000, that's the cost of the entire program. The current salary for our current co-responder is $75,000. There's a contract from CSO in Greenfield, which is clinical service options. They have a whole bunch of different fees and tiers, so essentially that's the cost. We pay monthly, and that's what I gave to the town manager, trying to get this program fully funded within our control.
Chief, just, yeah, then I'll go for a second. The co-responder, if you remember, what are their qualifications have to be?
I don't know all what you're.
No, but in other words, they have to have a master's degree or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just, I'm trying to point out, it's not just someone off the street.
Oh, yeah, correct. So I guess so actually it's 109,000 was the total program, but the current co-responder, she is just shy of a certification, which would relieve a level of supervision that's built into the current pay structure. So that's why we actually got it down to 100, because once she gets this last tier of, I don't want to speak out of turn.
The other aspect is that the grant actually carries her all the way to August. So we have 2 months, that's why it's only 100,000, is that she will get paid to get full amount, even with her certifications. But we have actually 2 months of already paid out of FY '27.
Garfield and then Rich.
The whole amount is this 2 months is going to be 75,000, and 100,000 is running the whole program.
Yes, correct.
And is there any reason why we haven't tried to get Pittsfield to Berkshire Mental Health Services instead of going to Greenfield?
So through, I'm not sure, Green Center, you mean?
That's the Green Center, sorry. They changed it
So-
in 13.
Green Center was our actual original co-responder. That particular program didn't work out. This is the model that we found was the best fit for our community, and that's what we went with.
But if I just have one thing, we don't want.
She's local, she's not community from Greenfield, that's just where the parent company is.
Right, well, I'm just wondering if it's cheaper, closer to home than just going away from home. And the fact that maybe it didn't work once, there are a lot of things that sometimes don't work once and we try it again. So I don't know if it's money saved, that's the only thing. Money saved for doing it close enough. And, I don't have one problem, is, but again, you going to the things again, because it doesn't have to be right. That, I'm just talking dollars and cents, I don't have any idea, it less or not, but it's closer, things into, closer.
Rich?
I'm just trying to be sure that I fully understand the role of the co-responder. Is this for mental health?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the primary is, she's a mental health clinician. She
Okay,
responds with us, she's embedded with us. Most of the calls are either mental health or addiction recovery oriented. She's actually, again, a lot of our departments have an interesting intersection. A lot of work this past winter with the health department in terms of some of our seniors and some housing instabilities and weather-related incidents. So, again, she does an awful lot of work, and again, not just crisis, but all sorts of things for us.
I know from my experience, I used to work at the district attorney's office in San Diego County in California, and I know that the co-responder program there was very large and embedded in the San Diego Police Department and in the Sheriff's Department. It took a little while for it to get going, but the benefits you get from a co-responder dealing with substance issues, dealing with mental health issues is oftentimes a little bit above the knowledge of a police officer. And this co-responder brings an enormous benefit to the community and to making those calls as efficient and easy as possible. So I'm glad we have it in there.
Go ahead.
So the position is a contracted service. And just from the work I do, that's expensive. It's expensive. So knowing that is in the range. So, and there's no benefits paid to it because it's a contracted service, correct?
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's not a benefit.
He said the person is through an agency, so it's a contracted service, so we wouldn't be paying.
Yes,
No,
that's correct.
I mean, I have the whole breakdown of the invoice.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Things that's my question, and maybe I missed it, or we haven't gone to it yet, but, do the co-responders, this is also, do language interpretation?
No, I don't think she has any.
Do have?
We have two officers that actually have the language stipend. They speak Spanish. So, but yes, and that is part of the contract in the police, the patrolman, is that if they do speak any language, and we're actually including now American Sign Language in that. So if they do have that skill set, they do get compensated a little for it.
So can I just get my answer, please?
Yes, it is, as of to date for this year, it is $65,983.80.
So there will be another 75 will be on top of it.
For FY 27,
right.
the amount that goes towards
Yeah.
those atomic.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just a process question. If we have something coming up that we would propose moving into this article, we have to do it now, or would that something?
Can you tell us what it is? So,
Well, with Chief's here, I want to make sure we have funding for body cameras one way. I
That's
know.
included.
Right, so that it's in as a capital request for the AI upgrade for 48. Do we have a number if to just continue the service as is? I know it was the grant was running out, but we didn't have a number before.
Well, do this now or want to wait till the?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of my
Or-
question.
Yeah.
It's up in the chair.
if we vote on this now, we can reopen it, move something into it. I don't see why not,
Okay.
but because I'm not sure everyone's gonna agree to move it. So, I mean, it's up to you, Chris, whichever way you want to do it. I would think it's cleaner one way, but.
Well, this isn't, we can't shift the, I'm sorry, Steve, you're saying that you wanna, in theory, possibly shift the, cameras over back into Article 7 into.
Well, that's what Ben is saying.
That, my question is, if we continue, if it's right now, the body camera program, the upgrade is contingent on the petition articles passing. Like to make sure that you have funding to continue the current program that's not contingent on, and is this the best way to do it if we move into Article 7?
No,
No,
it
okay.
can stay in capital because it is affiliated with capital items.
Okay, even, and just not making contingent on the special.
We can change
This
it.
article is contingent on it as well. All capital as
Right.
well as discretionary they're contingent upon the petition, the ballot question.
Sorry, I didn't mean the balance, sorry, yes, okay, those capital questions, it does, the citizen petitions.
Oh, the citizen petition,
That's
yeah,
an example of the many petitions.
yeah, so that is contingent upon the citizen petition.
Right.
Not, withdrawing or
I-
failing.
So so what you're saying is if you move it here, then we just take it out of free cash
Right,
automatically.
Or you can shift it within the capital item, you can make that motion.
not contingent.
In the
on-
next, in the capital article, you can shift it over. You guys can play with the numbers, however, but
Okay,
just know,
yeah, I know, well, that's why I was wondering if making it kind of, the same.
But then let's do it this way. If in fact it becomes absolutely impossible, we'll come back to this one.
Sounds good,
I think there's ways to do it, but
okay,
I'm 90%.
I just didn't wanna look past the.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Get your
it.
questions answered.
Yes, I did, yeah.
If everyone's all set. let's-
Yeah, and I have one other question,
course.
and would it be possible to take out of the Article 7, the legal fees, and have it as a separate article?
So Melina, let me answer that.
Mhm.
These really are all separate. Normally, our special warrant articles are separate. What the moderator is gonna go through is each one and ask you to put a hold on it if you want to vote on it separately.
No, what I'm saying is like you vote on the Article 7, you vote on all of those
No,
items.
you can put a hold on it on the town meeting floor.
Okay,
Like we did last night.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so there'll be ways
Okay,
to do
that's
that
fine,
without that.
okay.
I make a motion to recommend approval of Article 7 discretionary services and community partnerships in the amount of $341,964. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Melina?
Aye,
And I say aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Discussion? Bill? Ben? Roger? Eric?
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous. Mr. Mayor,
We did,
8.
Article
This is where things are gonna get a little complicated.
8, that just started.
Sorry. Article 8 is the free cash that is going to reduce the tax levy. It is written in a way that if Proposition 2.5, if the override ballot question does not pass, then this article allows us to utilize up to $4 million of free cash. So we do not need to go back to town meeting. And so that's how the article is written. So, but it's at least $2 million if the ballot passes.
so how much free cash will we have left if, let's say, the Proposition 2.5 will not pass? And we have to take another 2 million out of the free cash reserves.
I think it was 400,
So
around
we-
400,000.
So we are gonna be way, way, way below anything that we
That's
need
correct.
to be. Okay, I just want to make sure people understand it, that it's just gonna draw down all of the cash reserves.
That's correct.
Okay,
I'm sorry, just to follow up on that point, if this in fact does happen, then we can, I presume we have to start eliminating the planned expenditure, the other planned expenditures out of the free cash, which is free cash CapEx.
Yeah, so each of the articles are written that is contingent upon the ballot passing. And we will then reduce out, if the ballot does not pass, then we'll reduce that out Yeah, it's about $454,000 remaining of free cash if the ballot does not pass.
So there's
So-
basically no money left.
Right, and
Yeah.
I mean, and just as a reminder to people and to everyone, that free cash at the end of the fiscal year, I mean, we're using free cash for snow and ice. And this year is $325,000.
So this, you already have it there, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that reduces it even more. So those types of expenditures that come up, that's the reason why you have to have a healthy reserve in that balance, is for items that come up like that.
And is there an option to write this article differently? Or you want to have it there as a backup in case if it doesn't go through?
That's, yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise we have
Yeah.
to call a town meeting, and I don't think you wanna spend more money on holding a town meeting.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So we are
I'm trying to be
basically,
as
we don't have a
frugal as
choice really
possible.
here. We have two very bad options here,
Well, the
yes.
other thing is that I also wanna be very
Yeah.
efficient with everybody and respectful of everyone's time. It's a lot to ask people to go to one town meeting, but then ask them 6 weeks later to go again. That's a lot to ask of everybody.
No, I understand, but the
So,
fact that we would
yeah.
end up with our cash reserve as most likely less than $100,000 once we pay our bills for the snow removal, that's pretty scary.
Yeah,
really
it's- I mean,
scary.
The 454, it includes the snow and ice and all of the expenditures that are before you tonight.
Right,
So, so that would be the remaining balance of
Right, yeah.
Proposition 2.5 does not have.
Aaron and Phil, did you have? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just want to clarify the math. So, looking at the
this is
free
kind of
cash
crazy.
schedule.
Can I move this
provided
over?
tonight, assuming we get the override, the remaining balance of free cash is roughly 1.1 million.
That's correct.
So if we don't have access to this 2 million,
This less
Right,
than two.
because of all of the additional special articles, so all the capital would be rescinded that
Right,
utilize the
right.
free cash.
so I think you're
Mhm.
underselling the severity of
Yeah.
the outcome here, is what I'm trying to say.
You're saying we don't
Feel
have the
free.
money.
We don't have the money.
Right, so,
No,
yeah,
we do have the money. You can't vote on this if we didn't have the money for
Right.
that.
well, there's other, if 2 million isn't passed, then there's 2 million that has to be cut elsewhere.
If this doesn't pass, yes, then we have to cut. If the actual article itself does not pass, then we do have to
Yes.
cut. And then if the ballot question does not pass,
Right.
then we, yeah.
Right.
Or we would have to have another town meeting.
we'll have to have-
Agree either way.
But it's not like, okay, anyway, I don't wanna belabor the point, I'm agreeing with Milena.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
this is,
wanna-
this,
it's
I mean,
A little more severe than I think.
yeah, I mean, you are really telling me, I mean, based on what Phil is saying, that we don't even have 2 million. We would have to cut, and then you would have to cut more in order to maintain whatever you need to pay
So
for the
2
snow
million, So
removal.
we're just talking about the 2 million.
Yeah.
Okay, that is in that is already in the budget to be appropriated and balance the budget. That's pending also having the ballot question pass.
Right,
Right, so if the ballot question does not pass, then we have to utilize all of the money from the special articles and the capital
right,
and everything
to
else.
get to the 2 million,
And
yeah.
to reduce that down and use the remaining balance of free cash, which drops it down to 454,000.
So to just be extra clear on that, all the special articles would not happen. It would be eliminated,
That's correct.
not happen. That would, whatever services they may be, whatever equipment that may be, will not be happening.
That's correct.
Yeah, if you look at Article 7, just for people at home, it says
Yeah.
contingent upon the passage of Proposition 2.5 override ballot question. So, yes,
But you would have to, you would need to, you would have to cut more than just the special articles. You would have to actually go into the capital budget.
The capital too is.
Yeah, exactly.
All free cash assigned.
Right,
Yes.
articles.
I just want to make
Right.
sure that people understand really the significance of this. This is like,
Yeah.
this is big, really, really big.
Right, and
Yeah,
so, and this also, I'm sorry,
No.
and this also, is a good demonstration as to what we were, talking about earlier on February 3rd, and showing that the reliance on free cash is a really dangerous thing to balance a budget. Because last year, you only used $3.9 million to balance the budget. Now, this year, it's gonna be $4 million, and next year, it's gonna be even more. And so that's the reason for this disciplinary change for our behavior is that we have to wean ourselves off of that free cash because we don't have the revenues right
To
now
support it,
coming
yeah,
in
yeah.
on local receipts.
Yeah.
And to compensate for the fluctuations that are kind of out of our control right now, but we are putting together a strategy that to move us into that
Right,
direction,
right.
so.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we all agree on that.
So if
one, yeah.
If we had to do did somebody else?
No, go ahead.
So if doomsday happens here and, you have to start hitting the capital, what are reductions that you would have to make? Salaries?
No,
No, no.
No,
Yes,
I'm
it's
sorry,
not-
I'm
Capital
sorry.
free cash.
Yeah, capital
So
free
we-
cash.
So this is a kind of a self-contained, let me try this, and it is very confusing. So if the ballot question fails, there's contingencies in here to reduce what we're spending so that we do have the extra 2 million.
That's correct.
It's not outside of this. They're all built-in contingency, so we don't have to cut further. There won't be salaries cut or anything else.
Not salaries, but you will have capital.
Well, but that's
Capital
self-contained
projects.
into
The
it when we
projects.
get to it.
Yeah, capital projects that
Projects.
are equally important,
So
yeah.
Right.
Donna,
Yes.
I'm gonna go actually backwards a
Yeah.
slide to Article 7, where you'll see the funding source,
Right.
okay? And it is identified as free cash, and the way that the article is written is as is contingent upon the passage of the Proposition 2.5 override ballot question, okay? You'll see further on, the same thing with capital. I have identified the funding sources, so the general public knows where this money is coming from and how these services are being paid for, okay? So you'll see, and those are then very, very specific. And then we can tease those out if the ballot question does not pass, then it's easy to identify instead of just having to go back to the drawing.
Well, it might be a good reminder at town meeting to show,
Explain it, yeah. I
to
think so,
show
yeah.
this is what the reductions would be.
These slides actually will be up there, so,
Right.
yes. Yeah.
But when you get the laundry list, it hits home.
As long as it's also stated what's gonna then pass somebody on the tax bill. But also, that was one of my strategies last night when we voted on 2.5 versus debt exclusion. What would be more appealing to a voter? And the debt, and I've talked to people, the debt exclusion, because the argument we made, it would hit the pause button. You would still, it's the same amount of money, but it's temporary, you say permanent, you say temporary, the temporary is more appealing. The finance committee, the select board, the next fiscal year, they're gonna, and with the town manager and staff, really hone in on the budget and everything. So now we're to this point regarding a vote, and I'm hearing the panic, are the voters going to vote for it? So that was my strategy last night. How can you have your cake and almost eat it too? And with the debt exclusion, and it's good, 2.5 is going to be a hard sell.
Thanks. And
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also hard to say because we all know that more is coming down the pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
But that said, I just want to clarify something else, which is, so as we go forward and we look at all these capital, and also it's any of the citizens petitions that are well funded, those are also up too, correct?
No,
No, you
no,
can't.
They
those, I
can't be.
can't touch
Those are not even.
Well, I mean, even with the 2.5 override.
I can't touch the way that the article was written, so
I see.
because the actual citizens signed a document with the article language on it, and it didn't mention contingent upon anything, it has to be identical to what the citizens actually put
Thank
their
you,
signatures
that's
on.
not. And so as we go through these, if we don't vote to approve some of them, would that reduce the amount that we would need to ask for 2.5 override, or is it, and let me put it another way, could it reduce the amount of spending that's associated if the 2.5 override were to be approved? Or would it always be 2 million? Am I asking and then you said?
I'm confused.
I don't understand what you're asking.
So we have this 2 million
Right.
2.5 override, that's.
This
for-
this is free cash, this isn't about the override, there's two separate things, the override is on the ballot. This is on the warrant, okay, and this is a completely different pool of money of free cash, okay, so 2 and 2, it's not,
Never mind then, okay,
Yeah.
thank you, that is, okay,
okay,
I needed that.
yeah.
So we try?
Yes, I make a motion to recommend approval of Article 8 to authorize the use of free cash to reduce the tax levy in the amount of $2 million.
I second.
Anne? Michelle? There are too many M's in them.
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Milena,
No,
and myself, yes.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Phil.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Aye.
And I. Okay, we now go to,
Wastewater treatment plant.
yeah, Article 9, an enterprise fund, that's a lot more fun.
This is the operating budget for the wastewater treatment plant. Article that will be before the town meeting voters. And you'll see the layout of what it is and what was last year, so. This is an enterprise account, so,
We're planning,
I didn't do anything.
Leave us something.
I see
planning
what's there,
to
I
sign
didn't
into
touch it.
the town GD account. For their meeting.
Who's the host?
I'm one of them, but I think we're still on. It says town of Great Barrington. Hold on just a second. I need to get it. No, I think Steve, you and I are still the only two panelists.
I'm gonna text someone to make sure they can. I'm gonna hit okay, or you wanna hit okay?
Oh, look at the internet on the bottom, are we?
Okay, Alicia said that she is still here,
Okay,
so she's still on the Zoom, which is good, so
so we're okay.
we are okay. I don't know why.
It looks like, is there only one spot on the Wi-Fi?
Well, the window is on your screen. Can you hit okay?
No, I can't.
It's on, yeah, that's being on yours.
Yeah,
It's on his machine, but he can't hit
the
okay.
mouse is closing.
Even on the keypad.
Is this a top?
No, what about the?
Oh, there
There
it
we
goes.
go.
He got it.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my answer.
And I didn't do a thing.
Okay, yes, we're still on, I'm getting a couple texts.
Okay,
So
great.
that's good.
Okay, so. Wastewater treatment plant, this is an enterprise, this is actually not on the tax payers. It's not on the tax, excuse me, levy and associated, it is user based. So,
Oh, no, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
Sorry. That's okay. I just figured I raised my hand, that's good, but that's okay.
Okay. Are we ready for a motion?
yes,
I make a motion to recommend approval of Article 9 wastewater treatment plant enterprise fund operating budget in the amount of $3,554,051. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna? Milena?
all right,
And myself, I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
So I have a motion and a second, any discussion? Bill?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Garfield?
Aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
and I, it's unanimous. Article 10, Berkshire Hills Regional School District assessment. Do we have any questions?
yeah, I just want to make a statement here.
Of
So this year, we are gonna spend 77% of taxpayers' money here. The enrollment went down by 22%, if I remember correctly. And so the question I have is everything we have gone through, looking at every penny here and kind of dealing with, situation, which is very, frankly, very discouraging. The question I have for all of us here, what is it we are planning to do about this? Because this is frankly not sustainable. And I understand it is not an easy one to crack, but we have to do something. We cannot just sit every year and just go through the same exercise and then just have more than 2/3 of the money basically going somewhere over which we have no control, we have no conversation. I went to a meeting with the school finance subcommittee, and when I came to the meeting, the first thing that they told me was, I'm not supposed to ask any questions. I'm just supposed to sit there. That's not the way we can work together. To me, this is just such a fundamental issue. It's a very difficult situation, but we have to work together, the town and the school district. And I really am looking for people to make some suggestions, what would be the best way to do it? Because we just cannot continue this way. It's just not possible. The numbers just will not work. We are talking about the proposition 2.5 override. Think about it. 77% of your taxes are going, 77% of your taxes, the expenses are going up 7%. Just do the math. It just will be here next year again. So this is kind of a question to all of us here. What is it we need to do to really, help somehow, not to solve the problem because it's a very difficult problem, but at least make it somehow, workable, because it's not workable right now for the town.
Do you want me to try to give?
Yes.
So first of all, when Dr. Dillon and the chair of the finance subcommittee were here, that speech would have maybe been not fallen on deaf ears.
No, it's for us. It's
No,
not for them.
but I
okay?
think what you
Yeah,
said is
yeah.
very clear, and I think
Yeah.
it's to let them know. I think at this point in the process, you're asking for the future. I think the finance
Absolutely,
committee
yeah.
can request a meeting with the superintendent and chair of the finance committee and discuss it about what the future is. I think that's more than appropriate.
But that's not what I'm asking. I'm sorry,
I'm
Steve.
sorry.
I'm asking for some suggestions how to make it work, not just to have a meeting, because I went to these meetings. These meetings don't do anything, frankly, okay? So the question, can I just finish?
Yep.
The question is, how can we work together, the towns and the school district, whether it's the school district committee, is the superintendent, I don't care, but we have to work together because we are in it together. And that's what I'm asking for.
So my answer stays the same. You can't work together if you're not gonna meet with them. And if it's your meeting and you ask them to come to your meeting, there's gonna be a discussion, and that starts everything.
I will, may I just say that as the chair of the finance committee, I made those overtures to both the finance committee and to Mr. Dillon, and I was told no. They wouldn't even meet with me in person for a meeting with me in their offices to discuss how we could meet at our meeting and have questions. They were not open to that. So it was not I didn't know how we could continue a collaboration except to follow what they recommended to us, which was that we attend their finance subcommittee meetings, which we did every attempt to do. We learned, of course, things, but it still it isn't really a collaboration or a discussion.
Yeah.
So I would suggest you send a letter to the school committee itself, skip the finance subcommittee, and we'll publicly discuss it.
Sounds good.
I think you have to.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of the last question, I think one of the things that I asked Rich and Dr. Dillon is the EQB. You look at the capital numbers, right? We're using EQB for the capital payments. We're not using it for operating budget. We need to renegotiate the regional agreement So the partner towns are paying an equal share. We're not. We are getting hit. It's not equitable anymore. The old arrangement doesn't.
Right. No, we
And I
know,
know that's politically hard to work at the school committee level, like, I know people have been in the room fighting for it, and if we can't do it there, then we have to do it at the state level, and we have to.
and
push
I think that
Senator Mark and Senator Davis
Yeah,
give
no,
us support on this.
no, I had a
That's all right.
meeting with Chip, who has been working on this for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And finally, there's a beginning of a bill that's gonna go, but it's gonna take several years. What bothers me, I can only echo what Rich is saying. I ask questions. I emailed you, Steve, and you forwarded to Dylan. I got absolutely zero answer. So I just don't know how we can work if there is no interest, no willingness to actually even get engaged with us. Because they somehow feel they don't have to. Frankly, that's how I feel we are being totally disrespected. We are just not really part of it. We are just here to receive. And that's what I'm saying. I have a real issue with that.
First up, I agree 100% with Elena, because I've been at finance committee meetings.
Yeah.
I don't think the disrespect is intended. I just think it's the finance committee on the school side is handling it not quite right. And that's 100% on that. Sometimes you have to go above the head. And so I agree with both of you. But I don't know if this legally this can be done. As one of our biggest committees is the CPA committee, and we have representatives, Rich is on it, Steve's on it, from every committee, and there's a collaboration when it comes to CPA. When it comes to finance committee and budget, it would be wonderful if we tapped a representative, each town tapped a representative to
Exactly, yeah.
actually sit in on the committee. And I don't know if that can be done procedurally with the region, it's a regional school district. But wouldn't that be wonderful if among us, we voted and Melina says, I really want to sit on that, and then we would work,
Yeah,
that
we
would be a
work together,
true
yeah.
collaboration. But I think we have to get beyond this budget, but I love your comment and I love Ben's comment. But even in a structure such as that, to go on to the next level, what Ben was talking about, you have a more powerful unit going forward, so.
So then somehow, EQB would be the way to go.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no way about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, without it, so.
So can we raise our voices when Dr. Dillon speaks at the, to try to get it passed at the town meeting? And actually ask him forthright, right there, will you commit to this?
You're a
We
citizen.
if you're a citizen, you can do it.
Yeah.
That means you too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just everybody
question is
that
gonna-
has, that you tell your story here, you tell it to all the voters in the room.
Yeah.
That are 77 cents of every dollar that they are paying in taxes. That there's some stonewalling going on. And that's enough. I mean, raise our voices.
Well, I certainly agree with everything that's been said, so I'll be brief. I mean, having sat on the finance committee side, I think it's clear that the school district is not that eager to engage with finance committees. That being said, I think it's also true that all of the lobbying, cajoling, nudging type of attempts that have been made over the last several years by many people, including me, have failed.
Exactly, yeah.
So change tactics going forward and approach it differently. Exactly what that would be, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna figure it out tonight. We do need to.
We can put them
change
on
the way we
notice.
approach this. It's not the normal process won't get it fixed.
Yes.
Just
Michelle, first.
just follow-up comment. When I was on the finance committee previously, you were chair, I was vice chair, and I actually enjoyed interacting with the school district it was an open, and so it may be a matter of personalities, transition of personalities. Every committee sometimes the makeup of that committee changes the personality of a committee. But first off, whenever I asked any questions, if the information was always given to me quickly. I was invited to meetings and welcomed at meetings and that sort of thing. So clearly something has changed. And I agree with you, and I'm not, Melina's right, I've been there with Richard at meetings and everything. So a tone has changed, so it could be something as simple as that, you know, reboot it and move, and like you said, Steve, moving forward.
Yeah,
And Phil said the same thing, we gotta figure something out.
I agree.
And it's causing bad, and not only is it not working financially, it's causing negative.
It's not productive,
Yeah,
yeah, totally not, yeah.
Motion.
I move to recommend approval of Article 10, Berkshire Hills Regional School Assessment in the amount of $23,873,781. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
I'm gonna say no.
Good for you.
Elena?
No,
I will say aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Have a second. Discussion. Well, Phil?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Doctor?
I,
Aye.
And I.
Can I just follow up on that? Okay, so if this article did not pass at the town meeting, what's the outcome?
So I can answer that. It would have to fail. Part of the problem
I
is,
mean, is
part of
that,
the problem with the lack of teeth, you know, and I supported this at the school level, so I'm being very transparent. But part of the problem for the lack of teeth is the other two towns would have, one of the other two towns would have to fail. And if we turn this down at a town meeting, which we've done, I think, once, but my memory could be faulty, ultimately, we have to come back to another town meeting and approve it.
and because if.
Or cut
Yeah.
more than our budget is.
And if the other two towns do approve it.
Then we're-
That's,
That's it.
We're on the-
that's, yeah.
that's why we have to leave.
Okay, Article 11, out of district tuition and transportation.
This is based upon, the number of students, so this is just a placeholder, we don't know until the fall. What the true costs are, but I believe last year it was 130,000. So we're just giving a little extra just in case there is an additional student that is within the district. That's transportation and the school choice.
Any discussion?
yeah, I just have a question. You said just in case, what happens if it just in case doesn't happen?
If it's less or more.
Yeah, you're right,
If it's
exactly.
less, this is up to, so appropriate up to 150. So any of these articles, you vote the max, and then if you don't use it, it goes back into free cash at the end of the fiscal year.
So that if it happened to be 130, then they have to 20 grand.
It's gonna go right back to free cash. So that's with any of the budgets that are before you tonight.
Can I just, this is just a, if it goes over, then would that be a reserve fund?
We have to go to,
Yeah.
our money, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be several ways. We could actually,
Yeah.
see if we could actually, put it on for next town meeting warrant for an FY 27. Similar to snow and ice where you put it in and then you pay for it out of free cash, but
Oh, it could be
that's
better.
the other reason. These are the reasons why you need that big buffer in free cash.
case, right,
Because it
yeah.
adds up very quickly if you're not like anticipating, those are unanticipated costs. So, you know, $454,000 in our free cash reserve, if the petition doesn't, the ballot doesn't pass, like.
Any other discussion? Go right ahead, Ms.
I move to recommend approval of Article 11, fiscal year 27 out-of-district vocational tuition and transportation costs in the amount of $150,000. Do I have a second? Second? Okay, Anne,
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
Nay.
Elena?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
So,
Discussion? Roll call, Phil. Aye. Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous. Next, Article 12, revolving fund limits.
Based on fees that are collected and set aside and then used to dedicate towards certain expenditures within the department. So the plumbing and gas inspections, so the fees goes to actually pay for the inspector. Same thing with wiring and gas. And then Parks and Rec is for actual costs associated. The fees that are generated goes back to the department to help with parks and recreational maintenance and facilities. And the council on aging and transportation, these are the fees that are generated that goes back into the actual transit operational costs. And then the same thing with the fees of the electrical vehicle stations. So this is a standard article.
Questions?
I move to recommend approval of Article 12, authorize revolving fund limits for plumbing inspections for the amount of 25,000, for wiring inspections in the amount of 65,000, for gas inspections in the amount of 20,000, for parks and recreation in the amount of 20,000, for COA transportation in the amount of 150,000, and for electric vehicle charging stations in the amount of 20,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Milena?
Aye.
And I am an aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
All right, can I have one question?
Let's get a second first. Do a second.
Oh, it's hot, second.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, can you just clarify what the council on aging transportation fees received are coming from?
From the actual fees that are charged for the rides themselves.
We're charging seniors for the pickup services, is that correct? I didn't think we were. I'm sorry, so where are the council on aging fees?
For the transportation, you mean?
Right.
Yeah, so the fees are originating, so this is something that, one of the questions I had to Phil, so, and it will be actually appearing before the select board at the fee hearing, in May or June when we schedule that, because as of right now, there isn't a standard, usually fees are going before and approved by select board, and it is a set schedule of fees and that any changes and fluctuations. So, so this is something that has not received any type of approval. So I really, again, this is all a new.
So these fees, so you're saying these fees don't exist?
No, they do, and this has been done in the past for a revolving fund, and is to pay, it's basically, it's like an enterprise, but it's called a revolving account, so that user fees go to pay for the service that they are using, so.
I hear you there,
Yeah.
I'm just wanting to clarify, who is paying the user fees on that
The
line?
riders.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Garfield, you have it?
Yes, it would. I saw some questions about the electric vehicle charging station, and at one point, wasn't I real happy about that. They think we were gonna go on Railroad Street, and we have to decide if we were going to charge.
This is money that comes in.
That's right.
Okay.
This is money that comes in.
Yeah, I knew you were there.
Yeah.
I thought I cut it off with the mask. I did.
It's accepting the money and then using it for a specific purpose, Garfield. So in case, this gives the authorization that if, let's say, a vehicle actually runs into a station and damages it, this gives us the ability to use the fees that were generated from previous people before it got crashed into, that we can go and replace one, and it's already giving the authorization for that expenditure. Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call. Phil.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Aaron. And I, it's unanimous.
I do have one.
Yes.
Where are they going to go? Where are we going?
Oh, these aren't new ones, these are existing EV stations.
The ones that are down by the big one.
That's correct.
No, not big
Yeah,
one.
no, the behind town, yeah.
These are in the private.
Maybe so, I don't know, let's just be.
Yeah. And then,
No, they were
the one
there.
in the private.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have,
Are y'all making money, so?
Article 13, now we're into capital spending authorization.
All right, so this is definitely the most complicated one out of all, because there's three different graphs here that you'll see. So you have three associated pages for Article 13. And Ally and I had to be very creative last night and this morning on this one. So, again,
Do we want to do one at a time on this? I know you have one
sure,
recommendation, but
yeah, I just want to give a
pretty
little brief
complicated.
overview.
Yeah,
So
no,
the
no,
first
please
one, is, and I'll go through it and I'll shift the slides for the viewers at home as well. So the first one is capital projects that are contingent on the actual, petition articles and the ballot question passing, okay? So that's the first graph. The second one is these capital projects that are contingent on the actual petition articles being withdrawn or failing, and then the ballot question passing. So that's scenario number 2. And then scenario number 3, regardless if the ballot, the petition articles pass or not, if the ballot question fails, we will not be able to afford any items within free cash being spent, assigned to free cash, and we will not be able to do that. So this graph here shows the projects that are not associated with free cash that still needs authorization to utilize the Chapter 90 capital stabilization. And then also, we don't actually need town meeting vote for the grant funding, but I feel that it is absolutely necessary to make sure that the community knows that the culvert is a grant, that we are working on this project, and so it is in the capital, because it was also in the capital improvement plan. So, so that's the Cliff Notes version of it.
So question, so
Yes.
I'm a little bit confused. So I understand what you know, the logic of it, but what are the citizen petition articles that are involved in the capital project?
So they're not actual capital, they're not in the capital plan. So on your very last, in your warrant, there's two petitioned articles that have funding associated
Is
with it.
the ambulance?
And we have to fund
Yes.
it
I see,
somehow.
so you have it in it.
And it totals, I think
It's
it's
these two.
$565,000.
What is the other one? The
it's 490,000 for the ambulance and
Ambulances.
75,000 for RTE
Oh,
implementation.
the RTA, oh,
That's
okay,
right.
now I know, okay,
Right.
thank you,
So
yeah.
this second grouping where the petition articles fail, this is basically if the ambulance one fails, because that's the biggest one.
Right,
Or if it's withdrawn, it could be withdrawn. This is the one that actually, and with the ballot question passing, this is the one that has the full amount of recommended.
okay, no, it's for you, thank you, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the easiest way for us to do this, I think, is to go through each item, and if you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. So the first two are information technology, that's on the first chart. And we've talked about these already, so it's like we
So
drill
do you-
down deep if you
Do
have
you
any
want
other
a
questions.
motion? Oh, you're
No.
just looking for
You're
questions on
looking for
particular
questions,
things.
we're on the first chart, when we get done with all the ones on the
First
first chart, we'll vote on this chart.
Okay,
So information technology,
I have a problem with that.
sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because it's tied to the RTE, which.
No,
No, it's just,
No.
which is the assessors, that's the assessor's office altogether, yeah.
The general software upgrade,
Yeah.
but I guess if you don't mind, I'll just have on your question, which is this absolutely necessary that we do this
That's
year?
right.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
I feel it is, because if you want to be able to recover as much of your tax dollars that is, it is already been identified that with the current software, it is not actually assisting the assessors in being able to assess the properties appropriately, both positively as well as negatively. So some people are getting charged more and some people are getting charged less. So this new software or this standard software, the upgrade, because ours is very outdated.
Yeah.
It is not, going to assist our very small staff of assessors. That's why this is in my top recommendation for capital requests.
And if I may add, if I remember correctly, we also knew that it was gonna be self-funded because she's not gonna be using these outside services that she uses today to
Well, there
basically
are-
help her.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
still outside services that are required because.
Some of them, but
it is
not all
really
of them.
a-
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
Department
yeah.
of 1 and 2. So, Carol is really, the assistant is really more in the office, whereas Emily's in boots on the ground. out
Right, but I
in the
think
field.
she was using some additional software, just kind of help her with the
Yeah,
issues that she's experiencing. So
that's right.
I mean, to me, this is such a critical capability,
Yes.
for a town, because we need to have accurate tax records and accurate tax revenues. I mean, that's just,
And the upgrades, Michelle, is where this will actually be able to talk to other softwares that will create new efficiencies as well as and expedite it. Building permits that are issued, so you can calculate new growth without having to actually you can double check the work and go to the site to make sure it is, but those building permits and the estimated value on those based on square footage and the value of it, that will be all inserted, so we will have a more accurate number on new growth. And that way I can actually be able to forecast and plan for budgets. Ally and I can see what trends are coming in. So this is really an investment for our financial future.
Alright, so the online permitting software,
Yes,
that's building inspection?
that is everything. That includes also licensing, like liquor licenses, that includes
Okay.
health permits, that includes opportunities for us to even do road cutting permits, any type of permit and form that you can do online. This software will be allowed to do it. And our current software for online permitting does not meet the ADA new requirements, mandates that the state has put on it. So that is coming up within the year that we will be having to require the online permitting software to be ADA compliant, and our current one doesn't. So this is to be able to anticipate that additional expenditure and upgrade that's necessary. But the online permitting software, though, is compatible with Munis as well as with this assessor software. So all the building permits, all the health inspectors, all of the fire permits, like liquor licenses, everything can then be pushed into the assessor's office to see what actual activity is occurring on a parcel that maybe Emily didn't even know was happening, and she can start assessing and looking at things and evaluating.
And this is, okay, I'm gonna go a little bit woozy. So, all right, so it seems to me that Mr. Smith gets a permit to nail a nail in the wall. The assessor's office is immediately notified. It's increasing taxes. I just wanna be honest here,
This is for, it's not for putting up a drywall, and this is for.
Well, I did
You
get a lot
know,
of.
somebody's putting on an addition and they pull a permit for electrical and they're putting on a big addition. This is going to allow Emily to know in real time that this was occurring and that she can go. New units and everything, so
I'm saying
our
about the
software
little
is,
guy.
yeah.
Again, now I'm not talking about a developer, I'm not talking, but generally, you, even for minor work on your house, you usually need to pull a permit.
you have to pull a permit, yeah.
Yeah, and so, it's just like, I just think this is another instance where the taxpayer, again, is gonna get nickel and dimed. And that's just my personal feeling.
Emily's on the line. So Emily, go ahead. I assume that's Emily.
Can you hear me?
yes, Emily?
Hi. So one thing I just want to add to that. I understand where you're coming from, Michelle, of, we're increasing someone's taxes, but we're not increasing their taxes, we're increasing their value. And the higher value of the town could actually bring the tax rate down because your value is getting higher, which is more sustainable to cover the budget. When you have a low value town and a high budget, you have a high tax rate. Usually in towns, when the value increases, the tax rate comes down. And it's usually back and forth, same thing. And those, and
No, she's coming back.
I do understand the math part, again, I'm speaking for the little guy. So I pull a permit, increases the value of my house. I get my tax bill and I see it going up. Again, I'm talking for the little guy, I'm not talking about, sometimes you see people, they double the size of their house and that sort of thing. So I just want people to realize this, even the smallest project, it's cha-ching, cha-ching. And I got a real issue because I think the little guy's gonna do the teeth.
Well, I have to say, though, there are incidences, Michelle, that it will prompt an inspection and evaluation, but at the same time, there have been tremendous amount of mistakes that in the last 5 months that I've heard, is that actually the software is incorrect and hurting people because it's not assessed correctly, that there's units that are not matching what's on the property. Somebody data entered in years past incorrect information and somebody could be overcharged. So there is a plus and minus to the situation, and it is on an individual basis. But there could be a prompting of actually assisting somebody by revealing an inconsistency or a problem that's on the actual software.
But more often than not, that's not going to be the case.
I'm not the assessor, so I can't.
Emily's still on.
Yes, can Emily speak?
Yeah, Emily, you can continue to speak. Just unmute yourself.
It goes both ways. I can't deny that is there a chance it could go up? Yeah. But since I've started, there's plenty of properties that I've gone to where they were being overassessed. But I've also gone to a bunch where they're being underassessed. It can go either way, but our system, the system we have is just not. It's if that's what you guys want to keep, then that's what you guys want to keep. But at the end of the day, it needs an upgrade, and it needs to happen. It's in increasing the value of a home does not increase the taxes all the time. Like I said, the higher the value, everybody's value, every home contributes to the overall total value of the town. The higher the value of the town covers a portion of the budget, which it's a whole math equation, and I don't have it up right now, and I don't have my computer up because I wasn't anticipating this, but it's an equation. So it's, the higher the value, the tax rate could come down because now you're having higher values to cover the budget, which is why like all these estimated numbers we're handing out, all the tax rates we're handing out are all estimated numbers. We have no idea what we're going to bring in for new growth. We have no idea what the total value of the town is going to be because we haven't made all those changes yet. We do have a lot of new growth coming. There's a lot of condo associations out there that are being created and a lot of new homes going up. And that's going to bring more value, and that's what we need. We need new growth. We need people to put up houses and to add additions.
Thanks, Rich.
I just wanted to comment that Emily was before us and she made quite a plea for this software. But what I also heard were there are questions from citizens that come to her that she cannot answer easily.
Exactly.
She has to spend a tremendous amount of her time slogging through the system that she has to try to cobble together an answer for someone when they come to her for things. So, and it's that this department of very few people, which is vital to the health of the town
Financial health,
is
yeah.
cobbled by something that's just simply too outdated to really function properly. That's the way I see it.
It's just, it hasn't been my experience, because when I got, I think it was my tax bill when Ross, the previous assessor, was in office, I went, holy smokes. We put a new roof on, and I think that's what did it. And I sat down with Ross, he broke it down, and again, I think the state also went through a reevaluation of everything. He said, he broke it down. In the end, it made perfect sense. But I think what this is going to do is, in the old days, and Steve, you may remember this, you tried whatever you could do not to pull a permit. And that,
The change,
that
though,
would,
I think that's changed.
in the old days,
Yeah.
you know. And so my fear is that there's some activity going on that's actually gonna put us back in the closet as far as.
Eric, then Ann, then Madonna.
Yes, I'll just be quick, but I with like what Richard was saying, and just to step back from the tax perspective of it, but just the efficiency of the software. And when our assessor was here, with her plea for this, just her talking about her day-to-day of trying to work with two different pieces of software that actually don't talk to each other. So she's actually putting in information in multiple times to get her accurate charts, and that there, you know, and yeah, to nickeling, diming, pulling permits, that's a whole different conversation, and that could be tied into this, but just the efficiency of having somebody working on data entry, and especially if it's our main assessor, it just, that's where I'm leaning. As far as just the software, the assessor's software update, I just think her explanation of it when she was here the first time, just talking about the efficiency of it, is what brought me the most concern, and making me feel that she needed this upgrade, that team needed this upgrade, so.
Thanks, sir. Ann, and then
I think I
Madonna.
can pass it.
And
I just wanted to say that having this software will bring fairness across the board to everybody. Everybody, the little guy and the person that comes into town that wants a multi-million-dollar house. When people go ahead and look the other way and do their own work, I think Eric can probably agree that he's gone into a few houses that probably weren't really wired correctly, which brings the next item up, that then, oh, there's a fire at X, Y, and Z house. Oh, well, what happened? Well, it was an electrical fire. Well, gosh darn it.
We always keep
Gosh
that
darn
I'm a little offended.
Gosh darn it, you know, now we have a more critical situation. You know, it's fairness across the board. If you get, everybody in this town has the same, she puts the software in and she gets it. Some may have to pay a little bit more, others not, but it's fair across the board.
Okay, let's, go ahead, Dr. I'm sorry.
I agree with the fact that they should have the equipment she's asking for. But it seems to me, and I don't think maybe that is correct, it seems to me every year, maybe they drop the value of your house, but they up the tax, or they up the value of your house and drop the tax, but still makes you pay more taxes. So that's like a. Or it ain't right. Now, that
So
ain't
wait,
right.
so one of the things,
No, let's go through this whole.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, how about, what's that?
okay.
Emily,
Yeah, we're,
did she have any more to say?
no, let's
Let's
move on.
just
Yeah,
move,
we're
yeah.
done. Long enough, planning, master plan, visioning.
I have a question there. I really don't feel this is the time for it. You know, I think we have a lot of things, just very basic things. You know, what you are talking about, that audit, looking at the procedures, the processes, the issues where it's, you know, broken and all that. We have lots of other things going on right now. I don't think the town is ready for that. I think master plan is very, very important, but we have so many other things we need to fix first. I feel like we are not gonna be properly focused on it, and it's just gonna get filed away, and then it will be like the way it was. Who knows? Who knows what was the last master plan? What was it all
It
about?
was 2013.
Right,
So it's very
what
outdated.
was accomplished there? Do we know? Have we ever checked?
It's
Yeah,
used all the time.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
It is used
All right,
all the
okay.
time.
All
It's
right.
it's not like a strategic plan, which I've seen
Yeah.
go under the door.
Yeah.
Master plan is used a lot.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so can anyone give me examples of what was actually done according to the master plan? What
I know
helped
when-
it, what helped it?
And Liz probably can answer better than I can. I know when we get special permits, they will tell us why it's an advantage to do it, because it's in the master plan.
Plan, okay, so that helps you for the new
Yeah.
development,
So
okay.
I'm putting back on my town planner hat, okay, so, and I was the assistant director of planning for Barnstable for 3 years. And I went through also with my own town, I was on the planning board during actually the visioning, which this is.
Right, yeah.
Okay, it's not the actual master plan, it's the
Do
vision
the beginning of it,
process.
yeah.
And as you know, communities change a lot, very frequently. The membership in our community right now in Great Barrington was different 5 years ago or 6 years ago before COVID, right? It looked differently. The needs, the wants, the desires of the future of this community have changed. You're working off of a plan that was created 13 years ago.
Mhm.
Not even created, it was adopted 13 years ago. It is completely out of date, it's completely irrelevant, it has no voice of the current community. And the master plan itself, so we're gonna talk about the visioning, okay, so because it's two things. The visioning talks about what this community wants.
Mm.
What do you want for environmental issues? What are you looking for? Quality of water, right? So you need to actually put it on paper what exactly it is. What kind of housing do you want? What kind of quality of life that you want? What kind of education do you want? What kind of parks and recreation? What kind of roads and infrastructure and improvements and preserving the historical integrity of this community? That's what the vision says. Once you have that in place and you pull all the community, and it's a very big process, 2 years just for the visioning, then you actually work on really the specifics of it. And where do you place things? Where are you going to invest? And then investors actually look at that and they say, that matches my business plan. I'm gonna put money into that community. So you get housing investors, you get business investors, you get brick and mortar mom and pops that say, I know what they're doing, they're planning on redoing this, I wanna invest in this before they actually start working on that. That's where it is a very important. And so when we're talking about the strategy of putting this community up financially, so we can be more inclusive or more we have more local receipts and more of our meals tax and everything else that we can then not be so dependent upon the actual taxpayer dollars to fund our operations. That master plan, Melina, is critical.
No, but look,
Absolutely
Liz,
critical.
I totally understand it. All what I would say is this community is dealing with certain issues. If you go and look downtown, you will see a lot of businesses closed, right? So whatever you put in your plan is wonderful. The reality of it is that the rents are absolutely through the roof, and a lot of businesses cannot afford it. There are issues with the water. I mean, we can talk about how we all want to have a really wonderful environment. We don't have the resources today. We are talking about financial situation, which is very, very difficult right now. So I love it. I mean, we all want to blue sky, and do all these things and say, this is what we want. Right now, we have to get back to the basics. We really need to fix the town on a very basic level, because with the way the taxes are going, I mean, the expenses, I was just reading today, Massachusetts has 40% of population suffering food insecurity. Okay, it's unbelievable. And that happened just in the last few years. I just don't see, I mean, I wish we could do all this. I totally agree with you because it has to be a planned effort. But I feel like we are not ready for that right now. Right now, we have so many other issues going on. So that's my take, yeah.
I'm all for saving money, we've heard it tonight, but I go to meeting after meeting after meeting, and you'd be hard pressed to sit in any meeting where the master plan's not cited. And Garfield knows this, I've been a citizens advocate on many issues, and that's the Bible that gets used. There's a planning board meeting going on right now, and there's an agenda item that the master plan was used by a group of citizens with regard to the agenda item. Additionally, it's a wonderful educational tool. Anyone that's going into public administration or state or local government. When I only got my grad degree as an MBA in 2015. That was applauded by my professors at Westfield State, our master plan. As a matter of fact, Chris Rumble has assisted me on on my master's thesis using it. It's a wonderful educational tool. I would highly encourage any high school student thinking they're going into government to take a look at the master plan. But it is a guidance. I've used it repeatedly, and a lot of hard work goes into the construct of the master plan as well. I see it as one of the tent poles in Great Barrington that all of us go by.
The other component of it, Michelle, thank you so much, is that having an updated master plan actually allows more windows, more doors open for grant opportunities for us. So having an outdated plan, the state will look at it, or even planning agencies that have actual TIF money and other things, they'll look at it and say, are you kidding? 2013, we're not giving you money, you don't even know what you're doing. And they will pass us by. They will give it to Lenox or Lee or other communities that are putting together and having it. Master plans are only good for about 10 years. And you have to basically start at year eight to get ready to have it launched by year 10 and adopted. So it's constantly reflective and a true reflection of the community. So this is why, we talk about strategy and positioning ourselves, and I know you feel this is not the right time, Elena, but this is, I actually do feel this is necessary for us.
Yeah, I actually came in with the same feeling that, this is not the right time, but just listening to the conversation, I think actually after this very difficult budget season, what I expect to be a very difficult town meeting, I think this would be a great moment. And I do think it's not a little amount of money, but it's not one of our bigger expenditures. And, but I guess I would say, as long as, and Liz, I'm suspecting you're committed to this, but I'm committed to not making it just be the same old people who come in and you already hear from, or we already hear from. If there really is outreach to get input from people who, for whatever reason, because of work or family or other reasons, can't come to meetings or, can't come to the town meeting. So we really start to hear what the townspeople are thinking of the future of this town.
100%. So I really shun away from ideas and consultants that say, well, we just need to figure out one type of membership or two, or we need to have stakeholders. And then they forget about actually the upcoming generations that are coming. And I make sure that we survey even the children and every type of membership in the community. So I agree 100%. And this is something that has to be, it is a tool for the future. It's an investment for our future.
I just want to make a comment. I remember when the master plan was done and the outreach, once it was constructed, was exhausting. And I remember one night there was supposed to be, at Berkshire South, there was supposed to be a presentation. I get there, Chris Rumble was doing it. I was the only one who did there. He did the entire presentation just for me, and which was really impressive. But think of it this way, on the planning side of it, they have their zoning bylaws, that's exhausting. So it's almost they work in tandem with one another. And the master plan, and I've read it many, many times, you know, you can literally go through, well, that's not true anymore, and that's not true anymore. I'm supportive of them, and I'd like to save money, but I think it's time.
Bill, and then we're gonna
I'll
move
be
on.
very brief.
Thank you.
My understanding is that the master plan is critical for our grant application.
Yes.
And you already addressed that point, so for that reason, I support it. Having the word visioning there makes it an easy target, frankly, in this environment, and I feel better about it thinking about master plan update phase 1.
Phase 1, I think it's
Okay,
phase
so
1.
the vision-
Agreed.
So I'm not trying to manipulate anyone's opinion on this, but it's really about getting grant money at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know.
And also attracting private capital, and I think that's the way we should be thinking about it.
Yeah, phase 1.
Okay, moving on, and the next one is the last for free cash, and then we'll lump the rest together because they're either chapter 90 or capital stabilization. I think the free cash is the hardest one for us to swallow. The cruiser replacement, any discussion? We've already had discussion on these, so let's keep it as brief as we can. Sure.
Can I just be reminded, is this the replacement of a cruiser, or was it the type of cruiser that was like a pickup cruiser?
You got it.
So it's a pickup cruiser.
It's a replacement of a cruiser that's.
It's a replacement of a cruiser which has other functions, but it still functions as a cruiser.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the next are public works, and they're chapter 90. We've talked about these roadway improvements, crosswalk install and replacements. Those two are chapter 90, public works, roadwork engineering, town manager, town building, water infiltration testing, which we've talked about. That's through the capital stabilization, and then the Brush Hill Road culvert, which is grant funded. Any discussion on those? Yeah, go ahead, Ann, and then Michelle.
Okay, I just have a question about the Brush Hill Road culvert because of Article 23, which is also about the Brush Hill culvert, and I'm just trying to figure out the relationship between these two.
Yeah, I think that's the easement. Yes, the temporary easements for the culvert. So this is for the funding. And I had mentioned, and I'm sorry about the confusion, but this is actually for, just for transparency purposes, that this is a grant, it's fully funded, there is no taxpayer dollars.
No, I know.
Right, but the actual Article 23 is for the grants, the easements associated.
Oh, so that the
Yes.
work can go forward.
That's correct.
Could we change the title of Article 23 to be more clear in that regard? To say easements for Brush Hill culvert?
Yeah.
Michelle?
And it was, I can't remember what meeting it was, where we're talking about the town building water infiltration.
Yes.
And sometimes you see what you want to see, and we're thinking, okay, do we really need water filtering or whatever like that?
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that, especially at the annual town meeting, the same thing's going to happen. And then you explain, oh, it's to identify, and trust me from personal experience, that one tiny leak can do an awful lot of damage and everything.
Yes.
So, I spoke to Ann and I went, oh, like that. And so, we're kind of thinking at annual
Got it.
meeting
Yeah,
that
there could be some confusion.
I-
Yes.
Yeah, maybe even say building.
It's not filtration, it's infiltration.
Yeah.
I have to highlight that.
What kind of town building water infiltration, yeah?
Yes.
I don't wanna do that either, we're testing to see
Alright.
what's happening.
Let's try and
I mean, I have to share with you that I looked at it, I was like, I live in Housatonic, and I have clean water, you're gonna get filtration systems.
No, it's infiltration.
No, we're good with it.
Okay, we have a motion.
So I make a motion to recommend approval of Article 13 capital spending authorization, and specifically the first of 3 sections of this article involving capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles and the ballot question passing in the amount of $2,311,950. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I mean, I guess I'm struggling. I mean, I'll have to, I'm struggling with the permitting software. It's almost $100,000. We're doing the assessor software upgrade. I just wonder if this is a year where we could wait on the online permitting. I know it's efficiencies and everything, but It's just, I'm trying to find places to cut. And that's what I'm struggling.
And is this the time, or should I wait, because I'm having the same issue, but on both?
We've already talked about that, so
Yeah,
So let's
but-
take a vote.
let's take a
Okay,
vote.
let's
I'll
take a
second,
vote.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, we'll second.
My
the
motion is for the entire group that's in front of us,
Because
though.
there are some things there I really like.
Then vote accordingly.
Certain
Yeah,
items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could do a whole, we could do a whole.
Yeah,
So let's go through each one and see if we can at least get, I was trying to do this a little more efficiently. And I think this is good planning, because when Michael gets to the town meeting, we're gonna have the same
He may have
problem.
the same issue.
Yeah, so I'll put the hold on information technology, so we don't even have any discussion. Planning,
hold.
I was waiting for you, I wanna put a hold on everything. Police, Public Works, Town Manager, Public Works, I'm reading the department, and Public Works again. So the holder on the first three, so let's initially vote on the sixth at the bottom.
Let me just look here.
It's a cruiser, the
Cruiser.
roadway improvements,
Okay.
crosswalk, road work, town building infiltration, and brush hill culvert.
I retract my former motion. I make a motion to recommend approval of section 1 of Article 13, capital spending authorization for capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles and ballot question passing, and in particular, for the police cruiser replacement for $85,000, Public Works roadway improvements, which are funded through Chapter 90 for $410,000, Public Works for crosswalk installation and replacements funded through Chapter 90 for $171,000.
Nope, nope.
$171,000. Public Works for roadwork engineering funded by Chapter 90 for $250,000. Public Works roadwork engineering funded by capital stabilization for $300,000. Town Manager Public Works for town building water infiltration testing funded by capital stabilization for $135,450, and Public Works Brush Hill Road culvert funded by a grant for $777,500. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Melina,
Aye.
and I say aye.
So I say, Richard, thank you.
Yeah.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
This is the only fun part of this job.
Hey, any discussion? Roll call, Phil.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
And it's unanimous. So now let's just do each one of the top three separately. And we.
So
Yeah.
So I now have a motion to recommend approval of the first part of Article 13, capital spending authorization for information technology software upgrade for $43,000 contingent on the citizen petition articles and ballot question passing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne.
Aye.
Michelle.
You said, I'm sorry, to repeat the motion?
I have a motion to recommend approval of section 1 of Article 13 for information technology assessor software upgrade for $43,000 contingent on citizen petition articles and ballot question passing. So that's been seconded, and Anne has voted yes. What is your vote? No. Madonna,
Aye.
Milena,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Have a second? Second. Roll call, Phil.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Sorry.
Eric.
Aye.
And that is unanimous. Next is. the
I make a
online-
motion to recommend approval of information technology online permitting software in the amount of $90,000 as a part of, as a part of capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles and the ballot question passing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne. Was that a no?
That was a no.
Okay, Michelle,
No.
Madonna,
Aye.
Elena,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
For a second? Any discussion? Roll call, Phil?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Garfield? I'm sorry?
Aye.
Oh, thank you.
Aye.
And so it's unanimous for the select board. And the last one.
I make a motion to recommend approval of planning master plan update phase 1 for the amount of $50,000 contingent on citizen petition articles and the ballot question passing. Anne,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Milena,
No.
and I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
For a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Phil?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Garfield?
Aye.
And it's unanimous. Okay, next is the capital projects contingent on citizens' articles withdrawn or failing and ballot question passing.
Should we remove the first 3 as a
Well,
matter
no,
of
we're not
course?
gonna re-vote on these. We're gonna assume it's the same vote. I mean, there would be no reason to vote differently. Well, there could be, if someone tells me they have a different reason. So the first one has already passed, the assessor software. The online permitting has passed, the master plan visioning, the cruiser. Skip the next one, make sure there's none. Is there any other on here? Yeah, the roadway improvements has passed.
The Ply movement has not passed.
No, we're not, yeah, you're right. Crosswalk has passed, road work engineering has passed, infiltration has passed, and the brush will cover. So we're down to, let's start with the body camera.
I make a motion.
Look, we gotta
We have to discuss this.
So, which body cameras are we talking about? Because I'm a
Sorry,
bit
jumping in.
confused. Other than
No,
AI,
So let's
Yeah.
let's start with Ben and then we'll leave.
AI.
Ben and then.
Okay, so right now, this is the upgrade to the system that would incorporate, this is the new proposal from Axon, that would incorporate AI technology.
Correct, this was the new cameras, this is, year 1 of 3 years, again, the total number was 356.
Right, we go up to 150 next
Yeah,
year.
they scaled it down for our initial year, and this has the translation, there's 52 languages built into the actual device, that's your AI tool. There's a redaction suite, which does a lot of the automatic redacting for us, which is a huge time saver. And the third big item we call Draft One, that's your other AI tool, which actually takes say it's a 45-minute call, 2 officers dock their cameras, it actually generates a text report of what transpired. The officer then sends out the first draft, they have to read it, and then either make adjustments, corrections, and then they can submit a report. Once again, more just efficiency.
Right. Do we have a number if we just continue with the program as it is with Axon right now? I know its grant funding has been expiring, right, from the initial program?
Yep, so all grants were for first-time users. We did just find a grant that we did sort of apply for. It's nowhere near the amount we would need. But again, once that first-time user program expires, you're stuck holding the bag and it's on you.
How much would it be holding back to do service as it currently exists?
So I don't have a number for service as it exists. I've asked for that. I've been given, again, another way of scaling the first year even further down, if that's something you want to decide. I think would be the first question, again, the concerns we heard from some of the citizenry last night, and I think some of the concerns just overall as far as AI technology. I think maybe the boards need to decide, is this something we want to go for, or are we set on maybe the concerns of AI and?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, so, like, the work that you're doing in the trust policy, you explain, and Erica, John, everyone did, I think it's fantastic. I'm sorry, I won't be there Monday to talk about it, so be in the hospital. With me. But it's, and I went to a meeting with you back in January, and like, the goals of building trust, especially with the growing Spanish speaking community, and making sure that they feel comfortable coming to you with their needs, I think is so important. I worry that there's just so many questions about this technology and the fact that Axon is, and I know that they say it, but it's also the fact that Axon is the vendor for DHS. Like, that is just something I don't think we're gonna get over until it's just, these are big questions that we have to have better policies internally before we jump into this. And I don't want to risk breaching that trust with the community. I think our program is fantastic. I think we should find a way to, that's why I wanted to make sure that we have the funding to continue it as it currently is, but take a pause on the AI upgrade until we kind of have more of an AI policy in town.
Yeah, I just, and I know there was a conversation about it, but if you could just tell me what is the total cost, because I know they are gonna give you a very reduced first year and then it's just gonna ramp up, as they always do. So what is the total cost for having the AI capability there?
So the total package, 37 months, $356,191.42.
And how does it compare with the one without all those bells and whistles?
That's what he said he didn't have.
That's what?
He doesn't have.
Oh, you don't have it? Oh, sorry about
To
it.
continue on the current, what we're currently using, what you're asking.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that you are using right now, yeah.
So I don't have a number. We're gonna expire, September 30 of 2026. So that's our drop dead date. Essentially, to continue on, they don't want to give you the number because they're a business. They want
So they would not give you a quote at this
The car
moment
dealership doesn't want
until
to
you
control that.
get it, yeah,
to,
okay,
that's part of it.
yeah, all right, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna have Madonna, Rich, and then Ann.
Well, I was very touched by the people that spoke about the facial recognition. And I have to say, all these whistles and bells, there's a couple things. One is all those languages. I'm sorry, maybe 5, okay? I mean, maybe even 10, but how many did you say there are? 52. Yeah, come on, really? Come on.
What's the number 2 language in Great Barrington?
Pardon, what?
What's the number 2 language in Great Barrington?
English.
The Portuguese?
Asian Creole.
Asian, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. We could include that, but 52 sounds like a lot.
You choose one or the other. It's either all-
And I'll just point out that just last week in the Boston Globe, there was a whole article about the doctors that have been using these AI testing, I'm sorry, their translation services, not translation, what am I trying to say? When they have
Transcription?
their transcriptions. And that they don't actually wind up saving a lot of time because they have to, like you said, it transcribes, then your officer will go there, then he has to make corrections. There might be a little bit of time saved, but in order to be accurate, I can send the article. I mean, it was pretty impressive how much data people have had on that it's not working the way it's projected to work. So I'm just saying that I'd like to just keep it the way it is. You got body cameras, that's great, but the facial recognition, I'm not in favor of that.
Rich, and then Ann.
Yeah, I just wanted to iterate that the speakers who spoke were not really themselves against AI so much as they were against facial recognition, being something that they felt was problematic. And I don't know if that component of the software can be amended or changed in some way.
I'm pretty sure the town manager sent out some of the supporting documents last night.
Well, we saw a statement from you about what you use it for, but I was just wondering if the capability within it at all could not be, if it could be removed.
So this is coming right from the company. It's our data, it's under our control. There is no facial recognition as we know it today. It's object recognition. If I want to say that can has something on it, I want to take that out of all the videos we're in here for the duration of time. And I totally understand, given the current atmosphere, the trust in government and the trust in big tech. We all saw Terminator, who knows? But again, that's what's coming from the company right now. You saw some of I think you had a question about the termination of contracts.
Right, yeah.
There's, the way he said it, they could write anything into our contract and say 6 months from now, Ben, like, hey man, we got some serious concerns. We all sit down, we get some, we round table, look at it and say, you know what, maybe this is the terrible technology. Maybe we are being spied on. Well, let's terminate that. If you build that, we have a smart contract that addresses those concerns. That's fully an option that they said they could go.
Ann, and then Johnson.
I guess I'm You know, I think when you came to us about this, these new cameras, we all were really on board with the translation, and I think it's great to have translation for any language. I mean, I would want anybody who comes here to feel that they can communicate. And do we have to have language, facial recognition, and body cam, or can we just have body cam and language translation, or we just lose the translation and we can all be
No, so it's very much a la carte.
You can
I'll give you
choose,
the
yeah.
whole
Oh, you
breakdown.
can.
So the three biggest things are the redaction suite,
Redaction.
draft one.
That's the redaction suite is the transcription stuff.
Yep, no, so redaction is actually, so say I get a public records request, which I get every day. And it says something very minor, and it's a 9-minute video of someone being super discourteous roadside on a traffic stop. We have to then redact the cell phones that are in the cameras, the cars that go by that have license plates. So the redaction suite is just to save us money, or sorry, time. It's our sergeants who sit behind a desk and do redaction. So that's one package. One package is draft one, which is essentially taking the videos and creating a first draft transcription. The other third big package is the translation. Those are packages you buy once you buy the cameras, you buy the service. It's click on your box you want.
But where's the facial recognition? in all that?
There is no facial recognition. There's object recognition within the redaction suite. We're objects. We're objects. Right?
Objects, not
Our faces. We
facial.
can pick anything. I can pick everyone's face in here. You know what?
So can we do it without the redaction?
That's we can take that out.
Chief,
Yeah,
it
sure,
will
we've got other
also,
people there.
it will also help with redacting faces from children with the videos as well.
It's everything, like, say essentially I come in here for a call tonight, and Ann, you are way out of line, I gotta take you into custody, right? So it's, you're the suspect, everyone in here has to be now redacted for the video. That's a lot of work, there's a lot of us in here. We go to a domestic, and there's, there's 4 kids in the house. That's a big deal for us, that's a lot of work, so that's where the redaction comes from. The biggest thing we see are screens. Pretty much all my body cam video is me booking a prisoner, looking at a screen. Any passwords, any cell phones, any license plates, anything sensitive in nature. So if I can say, hey, in the beginning, I'm gonna pick cell phones, I'm gonna pick screens, I'm gonna pick every face that isn't, again, the suspect. Done. Again, this is, more efficiency.
Well, I think that,
So,
I
so,
think,
hold on. We got Garfield, Michelle, Eric, and Ben.
Everybody.
And then Madame.
I kind of lean with what Ben was saying, and maybe not do the AI, do the upgrade this time around. Myself, I'm a little suspect, I think we should have 5 cameras, I don't to have as many as I think that is requested. And I don't think we need 52 languages, I think it's good to have, and it's important, everyone, we should have it. I don't think right now it's important. Some of these things need to go with it, but it's an important tool.
Michelle?
What's interesting tonight, a couple times, and I've said it, and other people have said it, that this isn't the time to do something. And this is really an unusual thing, because it's what's going on in society right now. It's not the time, it's different than it's not the time. But however, when it comes to languages, I don't know if you get charged per language. I know we working for a school, we use multiple services for interpretation. We have no choice. But in general, it's about 12 languages but at any time, a new parent can walk in and we have a duty to accommodate that parent. So, and I like the redaction. Of course, not working in a police department, I didn't realize what you go through. And of course, it makes perfect sense. But I know companies say, well, nothing's going to happen, nothing bad's going to happen. And how many times do you get alert from your bank, somebody hacked your bank account, you trust your bank? But I work in an education system, we use Power School, one of the biggest vendors in schools. There was a nationwide hack in our school. I don't know if Berkshire Hills got hacked. And student data was downloaded and other things. So it was supposed to be the ultimate in security. Well, there's probably some 11-year-old there going, nowadays. And there's always, if there's a security on something, there's always a hacker that knows how to get through that. So these are my only concerns, but my other concerns is from the tech point of view. I don't know if I'm qualified to make a vote on it yet. That's the only thing. I don't mean, it's like, because every time you say something, which I agree 100% with, I hear, oh, that's another, I didn't think of that because my world isn't, I use it every day, but I'm not behind the scenes on it. And so, I think in a vote for this, I would abstain just because I feel a little ignorant about the technology.
Eric, and then Donna.
So, yeah, and the people speaking the other night did, but I did feel that it was important for all of us to speak to this topic, and just because it's not only obviously in our town right now, but it's a nationwide topic as far as that. So I have a lot of mixed views on this. In general, I obviously, I leave my house now and I assume I'm on camera. Every house I work in, there's cameras everywhere. A long time ago, my oldest brother, I opened up his computer, he has the camera. And I'm like, where's your little rental trap hat or, metal hat too? And then now you read about how these things, people are turning on your cameras, people are doing this. So now I'm not acting like I know how everybody in this town feels and their security level. I don't know, but I am mixed on this, but I do know that I want my police force to have the cameras, not only to protect them, but to protect the people that are getting pulled over, and so there's evidence of how it's working between all the parties. I guess where I stand a bit is just, we're being filmed everywhere at this point, and which brings me, I'm very thankful I grew up when I did, and I didn't have people with their cameras filming me at all times. That's a different conversation, I guess,
Mothers.
this is, it is a hard decision. It is a hard decision, but I just, if this is gonna make our police force safer, and I do feel it makes, even the most citizens feel safer. I don't know what the trust is for folks that I am not, I guess, but it is a hard decision. I always come back to when I walk out that door at this point in our time, I just assume my vehicles are being recorded and everything's being recorded, and then maybe that's a bad mindset to have, or maybe just too passive. Like maybe I'm not like waving the white flag to AI, but it's I think it's just something that is a reality in this world now, that every street camera, everything is recorded, and you hear about people arguing that, like, even people have Ring doorbells, that's being used in some way through whatever department, you can read all these different things. So it is our decision, but I think today, if I was asked, I feel like it is, the camera itself is beneficial. So.
Ben and then Donna.
Yeah, and just to kind of build on where Michelle was saying, because I agree with a lot of what's in there, and I think there can be a benefit for your department here, everything you're saying, absolutely. I think setting our AI up policy in a budget meeting right now is terrible. Like, this is everything we're talking about. This is such a huge issue, and like, honestly, it's like the only expert voice we have in the room is materials from the vendor who wants to upsell you a product. We should not be making this call based on this information.
That one, I'm just interrupting. You could do is a separate motion that contingent upon the select board approving a policy before this is turned on.
The other component that you could think of is that this funding of 48,000 can go to continuing the current technology that we have, which we're going to need. And
That's
we
what I
need
was
to have money to continue the service regardless of what actual equipment is on their chests. So.
Is there a possibility, I'll give you time, I'm sorry. Is there a possibility that the company's saying, we're not gonna offer that service anymore, and then we're stuck between a rock and a hard place because it's old, outdated?
I mean, I have a verbal commitment that they know we're in financial hardship, I explained to them, first year ever, stay together. And he's like, we will work with you. So again, we're in a finance meeting, I would just ask that we fund the program. Let me figure out how the program looks, let's get an AI policy, which is coming our way from, the Mass Chiefs Association. Again, it's tough that we're expiring this year, because again, there's so many unknowns, and it's a perfectly main point.
Yeah.
We're in a policy discussion, discussion, so
Yeah.
that's my recommendation.
I mean, I would love to convene our own AI policy and bring in people that we believe can advise us on this and give us the full picture.
I have no problem with looking at that, but if it's necessary, anything else?
I just want to make one comment, and, Eric, most of us in this room, I would imagine most of us in this room, we have the privilege. We have the privilege of who we are, that when we leave our house, if we're photographed or we're on surveillance and we walk into stores and there's cameras and stuff, but there's a huge population out there that are not comfortable with that, are scared, are afraid to be, seen in stores, and facial recognition is all part of that. And so we're privileged that we don't feel like we're going to get stopped at any moment or profiled or anything, but there is a huge population out there that are not as privileged as us. And I just wanted to bring that up, and I would like us to just kind of continue what we're doing without the whole whistles and bells.
So let's try to figure this out. Of course not.
And I'm the same, I'm positive in the beach, but my group just unfinished.
Oh.
And that's part of the reason why I think cameras were needed, and that was a protective measure, I think, for people that were, people of color. And to this day, we don't have the same right. I can't go to the same place you can go. I'm not complaining, just telling you the fact.
Right.
I want you to think that everything is the same.
Can I have my hand up?
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I think we're all in agreement that we want you to still have, we still have cameras. So the question is, what can we do right now to make sure that your cameras after September 30th, and that's in the budget?
That's what I was trying.
I thought you were, but
That's what I was trying to get
is there
at.
things that we can do to better?
Yeah, so the way we can do that, this is one suggestion, is we approve the 48,201. Contingent on either we keep the same system, or the select board and the town manager agree with a policy, come up with a policy. And then we go with the newer system, but without a policy.
Can I?
Yeah, of course.
Can I suggest that we approve the 48,000 for either the current cameras, or that the police chief comes in front of the select board and the town manager with a proposal that those gets public review? I mean, I think getting the public input on this is super important, and it's not a vacuum.
No, that's why it would be. It would have to be that way. We can't do backwards. Okay. So let's try.
Contingent on retaining the current system or the passage of a
AI policy by the select board.
And
An
review
input
of a
from-
new proposal
Yeah.
related to that of cameras. I guess
Yeah, no,
it has to be clear that we're not just going with this Axon company unless we get some sort of modifications.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have two things: contingent on retaining the current system or passage of an AI policy approved by the select board, or
Or a new proposal for new cameras.
or a new, or another camera system.
Alternative.
I don't know, it seems like the first two, I think the first two are covering everything. Either using the system we have or passage of an AI policy approved by the select board would cover any camera usage.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Right.
that's
With public, with, you gotta put the
So-
public in there.
Yeah,
Somebody-
yeah.
Well, we're gonna do this at a
Are you
public
sure?
meeting.
Okay.
Better, do better.
Okay, I move that we recommend approval of, police body cameras in the amount of $48,201 as a part of Article 13 capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and the ballot question passing. And that the cameras are, this passage is also contingent on retaining the current camera system or the passage of an AI policy approved by the select board. Was that clear as mud? Second,
Second.
thank you. Anne,
I vote aye.
Michelle,
I'm going to abstain, just,
you're not voting.
no, yeah, just.
Madonna?
because I'm not
Aye.
comfortable with my knowledge.
Melina,
Aye.
and I say aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Do I have a second?
Second, with the,
Yeah.
so the only other part of this that I kind of, and this is why I kind of brought this up earlier, is because I want to make sure the money just doesn't run out for this program in September, one way or the other. And so I do think body cameras, as they exist right now, are correct. Right now, this is contingent on the special, there's so many. On the citizens petitions.
Or retaining the current system.
No, what he's talking about.
But I'm saying, like, right now, this doesn't act like, we don't have a guarantee that you will be able to, that the money will be there for you to continue to have body cameras if the citizens.
So let's get
if
through
you
this
do
vote first. Let's get through this vote, and then, what we can do is,
You wanna vote it back into the
the last one,
first, into the
first-
the
first.
first one,
the
yeah,
first one.
yeah, so let's do this as two different votes.
You have to-
Space to do that.
It's still contingent upon the ballot question passing.
Right,
Like,
yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I was saying putting it like next to the co-respondent special article, just kind of.
And that
to make it-
two is, I'm just saying that two is contingent upon the ballot.
No, I understand,
Okay.
this is all contingent on the ballot
Okay.
question, I'm just saying,
Just making sure.
getting this out of the line of fire, pardon the pun, for, the petition articles, I feel just so we can actually just have a clean vote.
Well-
Prop 2.5.
No, the first one is contingent on, okay, I see what you're saying, passing, so,
Yeah,
okay, I got it.
yeah, it's, so, yeah, if we move into the first one, so it's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, let's do your vote. You did your vote. Let's do our vote. And then that'll be the next one.
yeah, aye.
And it's 4-0.
So now we need to do another motion, and putting it in box number 1.
Yes,
So I move to recommend approval of police body cameras in the amount of $48,201 contingent on retaining the current system or passage of an AI policy approved by the select board as a part of Article 13 capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles and ballot question passing.
Second.
We have a quorum if we all vote
I'm
yes.
so sorry, we're moving into Article 7, right?
No.
We're proposing
Oh, to the
moving
Article
this,
7, sorry,
moving
sorry.
it to the first
Yep,
box
I
of
got it,
Article
I got it,
13.
so
But we
I might
have
vote.
2 members returning,
Okay, so.
so we made a motion on the body cameras
Mhm.
with the same contingencies, only under the first iteration of Article 13, contingent on both the citizen petition articles and the ballot question passing.
Hmm.
That is our motion and second. Was that clear enough for you?
Yes, I mean, so we are, okay. that's
There
fine.
could, we're talking about
And that's
having the
what
We have it
police
here and then
both.
there, we have it
So,
both.
so this would appear in box 1 and 2.
Yes, but.
Yes.
Yes, I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that, yes.
Yeah,
Because if it doesn't, that's even more confusing.
yeah, it's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
So we're at the point of voting.
Okay.
Is
You
it
want-
clear
you want our
enough? Is it
votes?
clear
Yeah.
enough for you
Yeah.
to? So we're starting,
Move it from right now.
no, we're
Let's say-
voting to have it added to the first box.
Okay, so you're gonna put it there.
Contingent on sit and position articles and ballot question passing, and it also appears in the second box. Contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and the ballot question passing. It's just in both
My question
boxes.
is, are we voting on funding it or are we
Yes.
voting?
You already voted on funding it.
Right.
Now you're voting where it's gonna be.
So we're just voting to move it.
Not move it, having it two places.
Right,
Yeah.
duplicate
And
it.
what is
Yes.
what is the logic for it?
Okay.
To have it in two places?
They want it to be funded
Mhm. Regardless of what
under both-
happens.
Under both
Yeah.
conditions.
Okay, fine, yeah, okay,
So, under both.
I got it.
yeah,
It has
okay.
been seconded.
Okay, but you're voting.
Aye.
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 For the select board, I make the same.
You have a second.
Yeah.
Any discussion? No, I told you we'd get there. I knew it would be easy, but we got there.
Aye.
And I. Okay.
And thank you for raising that.
Okay, next one is fire, the backup set of turnout gear. Is there any discussion on that? I'm gonna go as far as there's no discussion, and then we'll go back and vote.
Well, no discussion.
Okay, fire, public works, the prime event system upgrade.
Somebody remind me of this.
For the exhaust of the vehicles.
Oh.
Having a system that
That vents it.
vents it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for a vote on those two.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
have a feeling the next one we have discussion.
Okay, I make a motion to recommend approval of fire backup set of turnout gear for $45,800 and fire plyo vent system upgrade for $80,000 as a part of Article 13 capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and the ballot question passing. Do I have a second? Second. Anne.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Madonna.
Aye.
Melena.
Aye.
Myself is aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
I have a motion, a second, no discussion, any discussion? Phil.
Aye.
Ben. Garfield. Eric, and it's unanimous. Next is transit. The two electric accessible vehicles. Out of free cash. Any
Oh.
discussion, Michelle? Go ahead.
I have
Yeah,
a-
we're gonna discuss it.
Just a quick question. Again, we have a lot of information. I thought one of those vehicles was paid for by a grant.
A portion of it, this actually funds our portion of the grant for two vehicles. So,
I think it's about 15%, if I recall
yeah,
correctly,
about
of the
10 to
grant.
15%.
And my
This is our portion.
my understanding is 18,000 per
That's-
vehicle.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
rest covers the rest,
Yes.
which is a lot.
That's
Correct.
correct.
Right.
Madonna.
Okay.
But yeah,
No, that's-
Yeah.
What are these being used for again?
For transit, for the connector.
This is for the
Oh, for the
connector for the.
connector,
yeah.
okay, okay.
And these are handicap accessible.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That are
I needed a review.
Can I ask just a brief tangential question? Is it possible that if those two vehicles are covered, that the one vehicle that's still operational can be transferred back to the Council on Aging?
Yeah, I'm working out the details on that.
But that's your thinking,
I am definitely working on making sure that the Council on Aging has
the vehicle,
has
a
support
vehicle?
that it needs. That is in my, definitely.
Shall I
Yes.
go for it? I move to recommend approval of transit accessible electric vehicles in the amount of $36,410 as a part of Article 13 capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and ballot question passing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Madonna.
Aye.
Melena.
Aye.
Myself. Yes.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Sorry. Discussion? Phil. Ben. Garfield. Eric.
Aye.
And it's unanimous. Next and last under this article, is Public Works manhole installation at Pearl Street. Any discussion? Make a motion.
I move that we
Before I make
recommend,
changes, remind me.
I move that we recommend approval of Public Works manhole installation at Pearl Street in the amount of $22,000 as a part of Article 13 capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawing or failing and the ballot question passing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Melina?
Aye.
Myself as an aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Second request.
Go ahead.
All right, MMU has alluded to this, so is this for a safety reason?
Yes, yes, it is.
How many is being like that?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'm all for safety and whatnot,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if it's been this way for about 100 years. then-
No, it's been more recent,
This is
but this is why it is in the list of my,
This
My
is the
next
worst one.
part of recommendations if we had more money, because it is a public safety concern. So as you can see, all of these are pretty much related to public safety items that, will assist with the community, so,
So change the first part?
So I don't know how long it has been in this way, but it is identified, it is being asked, and I am supporting the request to correct the problem that is known.
I'm sorry, and what's the cost?
It's
22,000.
22,000.
Okay, so
Yeah, I presume at this point, it's made it through along with the meetings and prioritization discussions.
Yeah, so similar to all the other capital items that you have reviewed prior to even being put into the book and prior to me even basically saying, I recommend even presenting it to you for consideration, is that you have in the book all of the backup material of each item, and then the department heads actually went through and categorized and rated all of them, and this was one of the higher levels, and that's what I used as my criteria for basing my recommendations on as well.
roll call. Bill, go ahead.
I wanted to, you said you're putting a manhole cover on?
No, so it is an actual drainage
Yeah,
system
yeah,
that,
right.
that is on Pearl Street that children and, yeah, are able to access and,
So can we put like a screen or something?
that's what this,
That's what we're-
yeah, that's what this is gonna do. Mhm.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Martha.
Aye.
And it's unanimous. So let me just catch everyone up on my thoughts.
Actually, we only passed all of these public works ones that are not funded by free cash. We only
Okay, so
passed them
I got it.
on this, but I think we could pass both on both questions.
Yeah, let me just give my thoughts and then you're right, we'll pass the, what's that?
I have a thing I want to raise. We moved the body cameras up to the,
Yep.
even if the petitions are withdrawn, or are withdrawn. I guess I'm just thinking about the turnout gear for the firefighters and how much is that associated with their safety and well-being if they need to go into a fire situation? And should we move that to the same place? I just think.
Okay, so the reason why it is in this versus the other one, okay, is that they do have a set of turnout gear. This is a second set for everyone. And it is something that we could implement. It is high on, it is identified as high needs, but it is something that if we have a fall town meeting and if we have new receipts that are coming in, that we can make accommodations, or even coming up for next year, it would be then, because it's rated so high, it will be the next in line for funding. And that's why this is if the actual citizen petition article is withdrawn, because again, we want to be very careful when the citizen, if the citizen petition of $490,000 is taken out of our free cash and you keep adding more into that article, then we're back to 400, less than 400, or less than even 100,000. If the ballot question, it's very dangerous, so that I had to balance everything and think about all of these components and ways that people are gonna be voting. So, and how we can maybe, this is a high priority, but not the highest priority.
So it's not like the cameras which are expired, these.
This is not, yeah, they can turn it here, and the chief is here, he can speak to it, but.
Can you refresh us?
Sure, I can give really good examples. The Lee Fire Department over a week's time had 5 fires in their town. And many of the same members of the department responded to every one of those fires. We only have one washing machine that will remove all the smoke and carcinogens from them. But because we only have the one machine and everything happens so quickly, some of us had to wear the same gear to another fire. So that just exponentially raises or increases the amount of carcinogens we potentially are putting in our system if we have to wear the gear that's unwashed. So if we go to a fire, we can wash our gear or put it aside with a spare set of gear that we can wear in case of another fire. And then we had the same instance where Monterey had a fire, and then the next day, Egremont had a fire. And everyone who went to that Monterey fire then had to wear that same gear.
Yeah, you're all over the place.
We do have spare gear. They don't fit everyone in the department, and a lot of that gear that we have is over 10 years old, and it's recommended that after 10 years old.
But this will rise to the top as we sort of, since that's the budget moving forward.
Thank you.
So let me just give a little overview here. We're gonna finish Article 13. I think we can get through this, because the rest of them, there are some simple ones in here. I think just if we hang in there, we can be fine. For instance, Article 14, one of the advantages of doing these service enhancements, and I'm not getting ahead, is so the voters can decide whether they want it or not.
Right.
So I'm not sure we have to debate whether we want employee professional development. It's put here. We can talk about it, but a lot of these really are gonna be in front of the voters. Same with,
Well, can we finish 13?
well, as soon as we figure out how to do that, yes.
But why do we have 2 under the 14, just 2
Because
different?
one is contingent upon the, so there is.
Oh, there's the
Right,
contingency
so
here, I
if-
see.
If the petitioned articles are withdrawn or failed, that's the same thing, we have additional.
More money, okay, I see, okay.
Let's see how far we get. Rich, have you figured out a way to do
I
this?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, simply, in a simple world, which is not, the citizens petitions equal 565,000.
Yes.
I would have thought that the total of box 2 would be $565,000 more than box 1.
No,
Why is that not?
because we need to reserve our free cash. So I only really used about half of that
But
565.
you're reserving more free cash.
That's correct, because we need it for contingency purposes in case we have to have a bigger balance.
But
Because of
you're
the-
saying you need a bigger balance if the citizens petition articles are withdrawn and fail as opposed to box 1.
So box 1 is the bare minimum. Like I said, the strategy of thinking is that there are the capital stabilization, chapter 90, and getting those road projects done. So I funded those in a way that it is not reliant upon free cash, so we can make sure that those public works
Okay.
continue.
I hear it. You're making a judgment that you want, this is the place you want to be in box 2.
But for free cash, all of those free cash items
Yeah.
are not, they're needs, but they're not like,
Oh,
we're gonna,
I understand, I understand, thank you.
yeah.
So I make a motion to recommend approval of roadway improvements for a total of $410,000, crosswalk install and replacements for a total of $171,000.
No, see, what
No.
we did was, when he made his motion, he said,
Only as
we
a,
only voted, for instance, in the first box, the motion, which was made correctly, was capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles and ballot question passing. Technically, we didn't do it stating capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and ballot question passing. So
may I
it's a
continue?
technicality, yes, you may.
appreciate it, thank you.
Yes.
And Public Works crosswalk install and replacements for a total of $171,000, and Public Works roadwork engineering for $250,000 funded by Chapter 90 and $300,000 funded by capital stabilization, and town building water infiltration testing for $135,450, and the Brush Hill Road culvert funded by a grant for $777,500 as a part of Article 13, capital projects contingent on citizens petition articles withdrawn or failing and the ballot question passing, or capital projects if the ballot question fails.
Perfect.
Second.
Anne,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Milena,
Aye.
I say aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Just wanted to say Garfield up because he doesn't drive at night. You want me to say that, so I'm saying it. Bill. Aye. Ben. Aye. Eric.
Aye.
And I. Okay.
Take him home if he needs to go.
He has a sponsor.
Okay.
Okay.
So we still have three items that we approved on motions only for box one, which we had some people voted yes and some people voting no on. I don't know how I can make a motion to take those votes and apply them to the same three items, given capital projects in box two and box three. Or do we have to take another vote for each of those items for box two and three?
Just need a motion that our votes as in box one, box two, and box three.
I think that would work. Do you think it would work? Okay, I make a motion to recommend the approval of assessor software upgrade for $43,000 as voted on a previous motion for capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles and ballot question passing, but now contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and ballot question passing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne, Michelle,
I'm confused.
We're just repeating.
I think
Yeah, but I voted
it's
no.
almost too complicated at this.
Those votes will shift over to this
They're
section.
just transferring, so my no vote goes
Exact-
over.
exact
Yeah.
same
So the yes vote is just saying that the
okay.
votes
Vote is
transfer.
transferred.
Do we do it on all four at once?
Can I continue my motion? Amend my motion to also include online permitting software for $90,000 and master plan visioning for $50,000. A yes vote would only mean that votes that were given on the previous motion will now apply to capital projects. These projects contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and the ballot question passing, or capital projects, these capital projects if the ballot question fails. Second.
Second.
Anne,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
and aye for me.
Yeah.
Was it too?
He does-
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Wait,
Hold on.
just a second. That vote, Rich, I am sorry, you have to redo the vote.
Okay.
Because if the ballot question fails, there is nothing from free cash being, so So it's only for.
Oh, I'm so
part
sorry.
number 2.
Okay,
That's
so
in there, those ones.
I'll make one more stab at this. I make a motion to recommend approval. I have to rescind my previous motion. Motion to recommend approval of assessor software upgrade for 43,000, online permitting software for 90,000, master plan and vision for 50,000, as voted by the finance committee in the previous motion on Article 13, but now applying to capital projects contingent on citizen petition articles withdrawn or failing and the ballot question passing. Do I have a second? Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Melena?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
To the select board, I make that same motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Phil. Ben. And it's unanimous.
Now, if we're having this much trouble with it, how much trouble are we gonna have?
I know, it's
at
a
town meeting?
meeting. I think it's very
Are we
confusing.
It's very confusing. We're on Article 14.
Article 14, service enhancement projects. Any questions on the first box?
Oh, I do. Employee professional development. I know we were talking about the Suffolk program. Is that PD only for that program or?
No, the PD is a separate contract. This is for in general across all. So like if a librarian was able to
Right,
get
right.
accepted into the program or, Natalie or anybody.
But is it only that program?
No, it is just
So-
professional development.
So if somebody needed a certification or something by,
That's correct.
okay, so
That's correct.
it's a blanket PD, not
Yeah,
specific
that's
just for
correct.
that, okay.
Okay, let's try a motion on the first box.
I move that we recommend approval of the service enhancements in Article 14 related to arts and culture celebrations for 25,000, employee professional development for 12,500, and computer replacement programming for 10,000 for a total of 47,500, provided that the above appropriations shall only take effect in the event that the Proposition 2.5 override ballot question for fiscal year 2027 is approved by the voters. Do I have a second?
Second,
Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Melena?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Second.
A motion, a second, discussion, Phil?
Question, well, for for example, for arts and culture celebration, that's the roll-up of a handful of line items.
Yes.
Correct. So how will that be communicated to the town meeting?
It's the same as the bandstand program and.
Will that be in writing somewhere?
In the actual, I can put it in the
The
explanation.
explanation, yeah.
Yep, detailing. I will add more into the
I was thinking more
explanation.
tangible.
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely do that.
Well, Phil,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
Eric, and it's unanimous. Okay, next one is service enhancements, the second one.
Make a motion to recommend approval of service enhancements related to Article 14 for arts and culture celebrations, $30,000, health and water quality intern of 20.
Oh, can I hold that one?
We'll just go back to it.
Okay.
25,000 fire department washer and dryer for 2,000, employee development, professional development for 30,000, and computer replacement program for 10,000 for a total of 97,000, provided that in the event that the citizen petition articles related to funding of similar purposes are not approved or are withdrawn, the town shall instead appropriate the sum of 97,000 as itemized for the following revised service enhancement purposes. I'm sorry, that was very convoluted.
No, it's good. It was good.
No.
No.
You said it.
That doesn't have to do with
Okay.
this. Second, so now we have to have discussion.
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah, on the health water quality intern, someone said no new hires, and I know this is an intern. But it's been my experience generally when you bring somebody in that, then they're absorbed as an employee later on. Well, it's been my experience, so, I'm not safe.
Sure, the ideal candidate for this type of position is somebody that is, that it's only available during the summer
So
months.
it's like
A
months,
college
yeah.
student that is looking to add experience onto their resume, possibly thinking of this as an incubator program, not to make this person a full-time position, not the position being full-time, but potentially actually attracting somebody to even be a new municipal employee in the future. So this is a way to, one, get the services that we need, and two, possibly attract new hires and good quality people that are, so it's a seasonal position. It's only for 20 weeks, that's it. So that it's done. And the reason why also that it's in here is because it's an enhancement. It's not gonna be incorporated into the actual operating budget. Okay.
So I have a question actually about that. So this person will be taking samples, right?
Yes.
And every day, several times a day? I mean, how are they gonna spend their time? Just curious.
Yeah, so there's bodies of water that are required to actually be sampled and tested for, any types of contaminants or hydrilla blooms in the ponds
Right.
and stuff. So, this position is, will be trained to actually take the samples of the water and take it up to the labs, so it'll be transporting and doing that stuff that actually then the health agent and the health inspector, who we will be doing a contracted service, scaling down to 3 days a week, that intern can then do the transportation instead of taking a $75,000 employee. to
Right,
do
right,
that
yeah.
work. So this is kind of another way of making sure that the elementary, yeah.
Yeah, I understand, but
yeah.
I'm just kind of curious because how often do you take a sample? It just
I
seems
think
like,
3 times a week of each
3 times a
body of
week?
water, is required during the summer
Okay.
months. And then this is also additional areas of service and need within conservation and health, so, yeah.
so they could do some other things, what you are saying?
Mhm, yeah,
Okay.
they'd be working with Kate and with Rebecca.
Okay.
So you said it's for 20 weeks?
Yep.
But trust me, I know we only get 12 weeks off in the summer at colleges, so, how is it a 20-week position?
Well, they could be here, usually typical seasons are from the 3rd week of June down to a little past or right
Labor
around,
Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's usually what we do is you branch
Yes,
out for
3
about
months,
20
yeah.
weeks. Sometimes water quality testing can go into all the way to Indigenous Peoples Weekend. So it just depends on how hot the temperature climate is too.
So would they possibly be working even after school starts?
It depends, it really depends on the actual individual. I've had seasonal hires where we've, that they're only in a split time, and then there's others that are actually more local, that they can be able to spread it off. That's why this budget actually gives us a little bit more flexibility to allow whoever the right person is that we're identifying to be a seasonal employee.
Okay, so this is a.
That's right.
This would be a college.
It could be even if someone who's retired who's in conservation or anything that, so it's a matter of finding the right person for the actual job who's willing to do it and, yeah. But usually typically for these types, Michelle, it is a college individual who's going for.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because when I hear intern, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I have something to do with age, but a retiree, I don't see a retiree as an intern. And so.
Just a title. I think.
It's a label, yeah. All right.
So I have a motion and it's seconded. Do we have to break down this, or can we vote on the entire package, the second box in its entirety?
Are you asking me specifically?
Well, I'm
As
asking,
long as it's gonna pass, whatever.
okay, okay. So I have a motion and a second. Anne,
I will vote aye.
Michelle,
Even with still having issues on number 2, I'll vote aye.
Aye.
Madonna, Elena,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
For this. For the Selectboard, I make the same motion.
Second. We're going down.
Yeah.
No one's offered it. 3-0. Okay. We are next under Article 15, capital authorization for wastewater enterprise fund. Any questions?
I move to recommend approval of Article 15, capital authorization for wastewater enterprise fund in the amount of $635,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Melena,
Aye.
and I am an aye.
Same motion for the Selectboard. Second. Discussion. Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
And, that passes unanimously 3-0. Article 16, to authorize funding to unemployment trust fund. Any questions?
I move to recommend approval of Article 16.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes,
I'm
of
sorry.
course.
Is this about the amount that we usually move, or is it different? Is it higher, lower?
It's standard.
Standard, okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
All right, so this is just automatically going to the Affordable Housing Trust, correct? Is there a checks and balances?
No, this is.
Unemployment.
This is for the
trust
unemployment.
Seven.
For 16.
16.
Oh, wait a minute, did I skip a page? My apologies, my apologies.
It's the same thing.
So I make a motion to recommend approval of Article 16, authorize funding to unemployment trust fund for the amount of $40,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Melena,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
I make the same motion for the Selectboard.
Second.
Discussion. Two.
Aye.
Ben. Eric.
Aye.
And I, it's 4-0. Next is the Article 17, to authorize funding to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Let me just read this here, because
Well, I know that at the 2022 annual town meeting, it was approved that money that's raised from this fund
exactly.
will go directly to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
So Liz, is there any? This is what was part of the motion there, so really, this is a formality?
This is an annual reoccurring transfer.
And then
funds.
just ask a
Of course.
question. All right, so we're giving this bulk of money to the Affordable Housing Trust, just because of some irregularities that have gone on in our town government, is there a checks and balances set up to ensure when revenue is given to any group, I'm just really concerned, my red flag
Is
is
it
up.
no, it's a good.
It's just
word,
standard,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm with, because
So the way that the original article was written and passed, I think it was in 2022.
22.
In 22, there was no stipulation or requirements. And I believe it was a citizen petition article as well.
Short-term rental?
For the money from
The money.
short-term
Okay, yeah.
rentals to
Yeah,
go to
I think you're right.
Affordable Housing Trust. So I have to unfortunately follow what the article passed and what the framework of it is. So there weren't any strings tied to that motion saying that the town is gonna retract that money or anything. Now, that being said, Michelle, the town can always put an article on to amend that original motion and passage from 22 to change how the money is being shifted and the purpose of it, okay? So if this is something that you feel shouldn't be going to Affordable Housing Trust, but should be going to a different source of funding, say inspections or whatever right? Then the community does have an ability to adjust that, and that's the beauty of a town meeting. Right?
and again, I have no issue with it going to the Affordable Housing Trust, but again, because of some of the flaws, that $1 million on procurement and you know, and oh, now
Liz has changed the system now. The system is different. It's not totally changed, but there's
For
oversight.
procurement purposes,
Yes.
yes, so that'll, but this is for their efforts and within their scope. So procurement's not just their only.
No, I'm not talking, I'm just talking. It's like I said today, a $67 PO, I had to get 2 signatures off of before I put it through. It's a checks and balances, and it doesn't mean we don't trust people or anything. I think we all do business every day and they say, oh, we need 2 signatures on this or a signature on this, a sign off. This is one area where I'm not comfortable, and it's not the 2022 vote, I remember that, that's not the issue or anything, it's not the issue, the housing trust, it could be any group getting it. I just want to see a structure in place that there's a second pair of eyes watching what's going on, because clearly there hasn't been in the past, and it's causing taxpayers money, that's all. I mean, rarely do you see people just handed money and not being held accountable.
So the same, and then Rich, the same thing would go for all the revolving funds that we have. I mean, I think that's gonna happen.
So is this a revolving fund?
No.
No,
No, it
well, I'm
isn't.
just saying, it's the same idea.
No, but the
But it
revolving
may be the
funds
same
didn't have
idea,
an
but it's not the
issue.
same.
Yeah,
It's not actually the same idea.
It's not.
Because we literally
No.
just take $31,933
And say
swap it
here.
to the Affordable Housing Trust, but you do the same with this Southern Berkshire ambulance. You do the same
Totally.
with
Yeah.
the school. You do the same. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
you
an
have
issue,
a lot of
yeah.
examples of you just appropriating money and handing it over to somebody. And then there is a public process that if you do want to actually look through and do accounting purposes, then that is a separate thing. But the way that the traditional article is written, that this just gets directly plopped over. Same thing with your opioid money that you got from the state. It goes to a nonprofit and is just transferred right in.
I think the only difference is, correct me if I'm wrong, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund is a town organization.
It is a town organization.
And that's what I'm talking about, the town.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good thing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know, I agree,
Yeah.
but even internally, we have internal checks and balances,
Right.
so that's
Yeah.
it, that's a.
No, I get it, and then Rich, and then,
Well, I think I'm just
Oh,
on
Phil,
what
what's his
Michelle's
name?
saying, can the Affordable Housing Trust Fund report on how this money is used to the finance committee, select board, town manager? I mean, why can't we ask to know?
That's a good idea.
Can we tighten it up with another article, like Liz was just saying?
so let's go one at a time and we'll come back. Rich, and
sorry.
then,
Well, I just
Bill.
want to speak to the amount of work that the CPC has gone through over the last several years with the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. There was a time when reporting on what was happening with the money was a little convoluted, and we had a difficult time understanding where all the funding was going. But over the past 2 years, they have really set up a very clear reporting of, they have various projects that they run within affordable housing where money is assigned. But the CPC has, over time, developed a sense of trust with how it's managed and how it's reported, so that we give them a bulk sum of money rather than try to micromanage how they use the money, because the purpose of the Affordable Housing Trust is to be nimble and take advantage of things coming up, of land or houses coming up, or people offering certain things. And I would say that it's not ill-managed group, but it is, but it is a fund that's used for various purposes.
Okay.
But we get quarterly reports on that all the time on housing.
so, yeah.
Okay, 2 points. Richard made my point, pretty well. He could speak to that much better. I've only been at one CPC meeting, but yes, I think there's a lot of reporting going on from the Affordable Housing Trust to the CPC.
We really held their hands to the fire.
But, second, I think this came up before. My understanding is that there are cost to the town associated with the online portal that manages the short-term rental fees. So this 31,000 is the gross revenues from that program as opposed to the net revenues after paying for that software cost. Is that correct?
Which would be negative.
So, yeah, I don't wanna, I understand how we got there, and it's a longer story, but that's something that we may want to consider at some point.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah.
I guess, I mean, I'm glad to hear that the money that the trust gets from the CPC is, you get information about how those funds are being used. I guess I just don't understand why the same thing can't happen. And even if you just say, you know, all the money was used for the software, I mean, just how, and again, it doesn't have to be how we're going to use it, it's how we use it.
Steve, Ananda.
Yeah.
Just account.
Is Ananda on?
That's a-
Yes,
that's
she is.
a-
No, it's-
Okay, sorry.
I like Amanda at this point.
Okay,
I mean, at this point, we either give them the money or we don't. That's,
Oh,
the-
I'm fine with giving them
Yeah.
the money, but I'm.
you just want a system. I think the town manager heard that very clearly.
I hear your points, but I don't think that Ananda and the trust are gonna say, well, I'll tell you everything about what we do with all the money from the town, with the exception of the 32 million of the 32,000 of these fees. I think we're in good hands there, that they'll reporting back to the CPC on how they're spending all their money from the town.
But that doesn't always trickle to us, though.
Well, it can. It can.
Well, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
okay,
yeah,
procedurally
it's been-
speaking.
It's been
Not-
heard.
their
this
reports
isn't about
can
not
come from
trusting
Wimble
somebody
to
or
anybody.
anything,
Yes.
it's accounting, like.
I agree.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm trying to agree with you.
I don't want people to think I don't.
Is it time for me to make a motion, or do we need further? Okay, I move that we recommend approval of Article 17 to authorize funding to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund in the total of $31,933.99 from the short-term rental special reserve revenue fund.
Second.
Anne.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Madonna.
Aye.
Milena.
Aye.
And I vote aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Second?
Discussion? Bill?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And it's unanimous. Chief, next year in the budget, can you put in heat? I know, can you turn it off? I know I had you turn it off, now, I forgot about that, can you turn it off? This meeting is suffering enough, do we have to have any more?
Either we're cold or they turn on the turbine.
Yes.
Trying to save money.
That's why we had them turn it off.
Yes, yeah.
We had them turn it off earlier, because you couldn't hear. So the next one is the authorized funding to the Southern Berkshire Ambulance, Article 18, Eric. And then Rich.
All right, so I just, I know this is a topic that everybody wants to discuss, but I kind of, in being mindful of the time. But I just kind of wanted to make a point here, and I think we made a lot of points the other night at the meeting. So I want to just start out right away by making a proposal that we look at the FY 26 number, which is 304,909. And I want to make a recommendation that we increase that number by 7.5%, similar to what our school budget increased over the last year. And I propose that we make that the budget line for FY 27. And I say this, I know there is fear about limiting the ambulance because of talk and service and everything like this, but I also feel that after 4 years of each time they come back and it's 30-40% increases, and now also the ambulances, which is a whole different other conversation. I feel like there's a point that we have to be firm here. I do understand it's a safety issue. I do agree with them that it's an essential service. I do appreciate everything they do, and I respect every single one. So, but it's a budget thing, and I just feel that at a certain point, if Chief Turner came in here every year and asked for 30%, I don't know how if the DPW every year came in and asked us for 30 to 40%, we know we would send them back. We sent the school committee back last time, and they came back with, last year, they came back with more cuts, and I think that's what we need to do this year.
Let me ask you a question. If the town manager is attempting to negotiate with them, if we made a motion tonight to, if there's not an agreement between the town manager and the Southern Berkshire Ambulance, by the time of the town meeting, on the floor, we will reduce this to 304,309 level funded.
Level funded.
Just level funded. That makes, because I'm getting kind of sick of the negotiations going on for months and not on full. So let's put some teeth behind it and say, we're either gonna have a contract or it's gonna be level funded. I mean, they're an important group, and I understand the whole healthcare system and everything, but, so I said Rich would go next, so.
Yeah, I have a question. on
Yeah,
her.
I said Rich.
So-
Yeah, I hear you.
So, my understanding is, it is possible to create an agreement with other ambulance companies. Am I incorrect?
You are not incorrect.
And have you done some research in looking at who would be possible to fill this role and did you do any research fill this role at a more reasonable level of funding?
Well, I don't know about the reasonableness of the funding or the costs associated with it, but I have done research, and there are services north of us, not that far in Pittsfield, so that are more statewide. They have other locations in the state, and if the town offers and puts out procurement, a request for proposals, then we may be able to attract and ask for of any interest of other companies coming and providing services as well. So that is an option to do.
So we have the option of creating a contract with this company that's multi-year and more reasonable.
Yes.
And we have an option of looking at other vendors who can provide similar service.
Yeah, so typically, what I'm used to and what I would like to actually implement and going forward is that because this is a service and it is a vendor, you should be going out every 3 years, and actually the procurement, the scope and the draft contract in it is pretty much non-negotiable when you send it out. And then those companies bid on it and they say they'll do everything for such number. And then they'll itemize out all the other things. So some companies say they're not gonna charge the community anything because they can recover. They have a very robust collections department that will go after it in a more professional or whatever way it is. So that is the reason why it is important that this type of service actually be in a procurement rotation every 3 years. And procurement doesn't mean that we're not against, or that we want to sever our relationship with Southern Berkshire in any way. It just means that this is what it is. It cannot exceed this amount of money. And they can then bid on it and tell us what their proposal is. So that is something that is an option, that I can negotiate 1-year contract, and in that, then I work on putting together a request for proposal and push that out and then push it out to a bunch of different companies to see if they're interested in actually bidding on it.
So for tonight at least, there's Eric's proposal or mine, I don't care which one.
I like the level funding.
Yeah, I say that if we don't have a contract by town meeting, we just reduce it on the town meeting floor to level funding.
So I have a question.
For putting out an RFP?
Or for just coming up with some sort of agreement with them.
Yeah, there's some My only concern is that there are some things that are creating friction between. So, Southern Berkshire did reach out to me this afternoon and said that they do want to set up a meeting, and I will be coordinating that for next week. So I don't know what that conversation, will be. So, yeah, but there are some little fine-tuned things that I am not willing to compromise on
That's
behalf
why-
of the taxpayers.
That's exactly why I want to give a drop dead date and force this issue instead of hanging over your head and their head and the taxpayer's head until the summer. And there is no, when you negotiate, there's no impetus to settle if the money's already been approved and they can drag this out farther. That's all my point. Hopefully.
Well, I mean, they'll have the money to operate, they won't have a contract to occupy this building in any way, or other things that they're asking for.
Right, but what I'm saying is if we don't settle by town meeting time, then they're down to 304,000.
That's correct.
Yeah, to me, that would seem to be some sort of impetus to get this done. Does it put too much pressure on you to get that?
No.
Okay,
Okay, I have a question.
of course.
And Melina.
Yeah, I had a
had
question,
question.
yeah,
Were
so,
you next one? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
so my question is really, so we are talking about 400,000 operating and then another, whatever, 500,000.
That's for
Capital,
funding too,
right.
Or the other caveat or the other option was, I believe it was, up to, it was 468 and two.
Whatever, yeah, it was
Right.
close to that.
For fund, yeah.
And so, and do we know what are the other towns? Where are they with their numbers?
They're less, but they.
Significantly less?
Yes, because it's based upon the number of.
It's volume, right?
Right,
Yeah, okay.
Exactly, but in the contract that I'm working on, there are identified in-kind services that we also are supporting them in general, such as the use and occupancy of this building and assessing what the value was. So there are things that I'm trying to work on to make sure that those things are identified.
Because I mean, to me, it seems that the kind of a service that they provide, there's definitely a cost piece that is volume, driven, and the other is, which is kind of on the overhead, that should not be really necessarily based on the volume. So, and that's the first thing is like how the cost structure is allocated across. But it seems to me this is totally out of control.
Right, I think the other thing, Melina, that I have an issue with this is that they're controlling what the assessment is, and it should be the opposite.
Exactly,
So we
yeah.
should be saying, we have this much money, tell us what you can provide for us, instead of the town's actually looking at it and saying, were those runs to actually take them to the hospital here, or are these transports, and you're throwing in number of transports because that makes the money. Like, I don't know what that assessment is, and they're determining what that is, and
Right.
telling Sheffield and all of us what our cost is.
And did you get actually from them detailed financials? Because we never really got proper financials from them, like at the granular level that you can really see what is happening there operationally. I mean, they would always say, the insurance industry is doing this to us, and that's true, that's definitely happening, but we don't really understand how the cost structure is there.
No, I have to say that, I did get an email from Patrick, I did not read it through, but to be honest, Melina, I'm not their auditor.
No, I'm not saying you are audited, but you can take a look at the financials and see what's happening there,
I am
right?
not their board member
Yeah.
either, so I am an employee of the town, and
Right.
that's my job is to protect the town and the taxpayers. So when I see something that is not right and I have an issue with, that's my job to tell you.
Right. So anyhow, yeah.
Well, Melina kind of came in, that was what I was thinking. I agree with the level funding pending any type of agreement. But the additional amount, that was for 2 ambulances, right?
That's correct.
We're not there yet. We're not gonna
Yeah,
talk
I know
about
we're
that
not
anyway.
there yet, but I can't support, maybe one or the other.
No, but the citizens petitions, we don't talk about.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
There's-
Yeah, you're
They're
right.
out of
No,
our
you're right.
purview.
Yeah, they're out of our purview.
Well, I just wanted to say that, since Liz is new, we have been asking them for years for details, and they have,
They never gave them.
not only did they not produce it, but it was cloaked in secrecy, as I recall. Then, well, we can't really reveal X, Y, and Z, and of course, their nonprofit 990s are years behind or some, so you don't really get the full scope of that. So I'm in favor of, level fund it. If they, yeah.
So let me just say a couple of things, just on the graph. One is, they're probably the group that got us where we are as far as not equal charges. The other towns would have much rather seen just divide it by 6 towns and be done with it. And Southern Berkshire did say, absolutely not, that's just, or that we would pay them, excuse me, and that they would pay by their size. And they said, no, that's not fair, because you have a nursing home, you have a hospital. The other thing to say is, I think a lot of what happens here, although it's frustrating, is they've come in 5 years from a volunteer, partial volunteer, so fully paid, and they have some growing pains. But having said that, and they're a good group, having said that, I think there's gotta be some understanding that a 30%, I agree with Eric, a 30% increase every year is just not sustainable. And that's why a 3-year contract would have been nice, but we've never come to that. And the other part of it is, I understand that they will say I'm wrong, but we're funding their deficit, no matter how you put it, in whatever term. And as Art told us last night, Art's still here, he's gone, that there's other ways of looking at it than just coming to the town. They need to look at better ways to increase their revenue. And I'm not an expert at that, but he was right.
Eric, your idea is good. Steve, your idea is good. I support it. I would say we've done deep dives into this admittedly over the last couple of years. The operations are enormously complex. Madonna, I would say that it hasn't been easy, but they have provided us with audited financials historically. They have been lagged. But the audited financials were by no means any kind of information that would allow you to do the operational assessment that I think Elaine was speaking to. But it certainly gave us comfort a couple of years ago that, the money was being used appropriately. So there's a lot of moving pieces. The whole operational level requires an enormous amount of work to figure out what makes sense. Just simplistically, just looking at it again this morning, our town of Mount Washington, we all like Mount Washington. It's a beautiful little town, nothing against them, but, they're a half-hour drive from Fairview. And they're spending $24,000 for emergency ambulance service. So everyone's well-intentioned. I'm not trying to be critical. I just don't think operationally it makes sense for Southern Berkshire to be servicing that town and to be allocating that amount of cost to them. But anyway, I support Steve's idea. Liz is working on it, it's enormously complex, we're going to continue to work on it, it's going to require a lot more work.
Can we try a motion?
I move to recommend approval of Article 18 to authorize funding to Southern Berkshire Ambulance in the amount of $414,676, contingent on a signed agreement with the town of Great Barrington by May 1st, 2026, or in the absence of a signed agreement, funding will remain at last year's level of $304,909. Do I have a second? Anne? Michelle?
Yeah.
No.
Aye.
No.
Melena?
No.
And I have an aye.
It's 3-2.
That failed?
No.
No, you guys are, you passed, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wanna make an attempt to make a different motion, thank
You can, there's just gonna go on.
you.
There, but you can,
Alright.
you can.
I wanna make a motion to level fund, Article 18 at 304,909, pending whatever contract is agreed upon by our town manager. At
That's
time
maybe
of
a-
town meeting.
Is that about the same motion?
It's not
No,
quite,
No.
304.
it's very different.
It's already
You're not
aligned,
going-
the four
you're not-
14.
I'm already
We don't
allowing
know-
them the
We don't know
414.
what the negotiation price
There's no
is.
funding if I don't have a contract, and he's keeping it at 304.
No, the funding, if you don't have a contract, would be 304, we'll change it on the town meeting floor.
That's not what he said.
No, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
Is that what you said?
I said,
I'm saying that
Who-
the
who's-
funding would
Oh,
be,
here, no funding.
yeah, I'm saying the funding would be 304,909
Mm-hmm.
unless you have a contract by May 9th. And then it would be whatever that contract states.
Can we raise it on the town meeting floor?
Can you elevate it above 414?
No, 304 is what he said.
No, once
No.
it's posted, so any article on town meeting warrant, after it is posted by the police chief, those numbers can't be raised
They can go
higher.
down.
They can go down, but they cannot go.
That's why I
higher.
like his motion, because with your motion, we can't give them any more than the
And
304.
Yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, I don't wanna give it for you.
Well, we have a
That's what I
motion,
said, it's
we have a
304.
motion, it's a legal motion,
Yeah.
I presume, so do I have a second? For discussion,
So it's good.
Yeah.
Discuss.
yeah,
For the sake of discussion.
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Can we, is it possible to add basically an 18B, which would basically be a blank for whatever Liz and SBA?
There's gonna be a dollar amount in there. The state frowns on us
It has to be.
having blank checks,
It can't be.
so which motion are you discussing?
Eric's.
Phil, it could be up to a certain amount.
So it could be somewhere between,
I could-
it's $110,000 difference between those two numbers.
Right, so you could say, and the article could be written to
Right.
see if the town will vote to appropriate up to 414.
Okay, I mean, I think it's a little better, I think what, if I'm putting words in Eric's mouth, you know, sort of negotiating 101. But also Steve mentioned earlier, that if we approve the 414, then that makes your job a little harder. Maybe?
Well, my motion was contingent on having the signed
All right, well,
agreement.
we're arguing about negotiating tactics on an open meeting on Zoom.
So we have a motion in a second, let's go for that first of all. Phil?
Well, aye on Eric's motion.
Ben?
No, on Eric's motion.
And no, so it fails for lack of 3 votes. Okay, can I just?
I'm not offended.
Maybe earlier. you got offended. Can I just make, I usually don't make a motion, let me just try the same motion in finance committee.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Can you repeat the motion?
No, but-
I will second it, and let's talk
I
about
make
it.
a motion to recommend approval of Article 18, authorized funding to Southern Berkshire Ambulance in the amount of $414,676, contingent on a signed agreement with the town by May 1st, 2026, or in the absence of a signed agreement, funding will remain at last year's level of $304,909.
If you could come in with a contract that could come in under this 414, but or not.
So my original proposal was 5% above 304.
Yeah.
So,
The other problem that we have to deal with is that if it ends up at the 304, and I'm just contradicting myself now, let's say there's no agreement. And it ends up, the motion's for 414, they could put a motion to raise it back to 414, because that's the original motion.
Yeah.
So That's another problem.
Yeah.
I've outsmarted myself.
Not possible.
Are they listening now? Could I have said that?
Well, originally, I thought that Liz's original idea of last year's plus a 5% increase was business-wise reasonable.
Yeah.
Perhaps that would be a better way to go in both ways and forget the 414,676.
What if we just did another motion and just, yeah, absolutely level funded it?
Exactly, yeah. why don't-
Make it just clean,
Yeah.
sorry.
Why don't we just level fund it?
So up to you, you can do whatever you want.
I mean, what if we level funded it and said the reason we're not, I don't know if we can change our vote, but, the reason we're not level funding it is because there's no agreement and they'll have to do it. And if they,
Well, we can say we level funded, but there still needs to be an agreement.
that they, we feel that they give you less.
What gives you a stronger position to get an agreement, Liz?
You voting a single number.
And,
Yeah, we
Not
give them
that-
the
and I
number.
can't exceed that,
Yeah, we-
because that's all that's appropriated.
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
number
so
to
level
work with,
funding?
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you wanna
That's up to
do.
you.
Yeah.
However-
So you can withdraw, you can vote to withdraw that.
I vote to withdraw the motion.
The previous
and
motion.
The previous motion that we voted on for the ambulance squad on Article 18.
so may I make a new motion?
Get a second and vote on the withdrawal.
Oh, so a second. Vote on the withdrawal, and we're withdrawing our
Withdraw,
previous
second,
motion.
Second.
Michelle,
I,
Madonna is obviously an aye,
Aye.
Elena, and I'm an aye. So
We're back to square
I
one.
make a motion to recommend approval of Article 18, authorized funding to Southern Berkshire Ambulance in the amount of $304,909.
Second,
And
No increase at all.
No. well, that's what
You
everyone
know, I'll
wants.
live with it. Okay. Aye.
I,
aye.
Aye.
And aye. Aye for me.
Let me make sure that for the select board, I make the same motion.
Second. So this leaves us with, I mean, this is
Well, I
no
think,
wiggle room, right?
well, no wiggle room, but I think it does give this, it says we're serious.
Yeah,
And I think they should come to their negotiations and say, you know what? We wanna have a better outcome next year.
Yeah, you can't,
So there, yeah,
just realize that the 304,909 is the most they're gonna get, if that's what's voted on at town meeting. So I don't know if that's gonna tell them that they're serious. It's, I don't know, I think it may be a little harsh, but that's just my opinion.
that's how I feel.
Well, I'm struggling with that too,
That we
but
didn't, it's because it's like, I want to say, it's, we want a floor and a ceiling,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, that's. what we're trying to
But Liz's point is, we could have done a not to exceed, that's what the finance committee did, and that's fine. We could do a not to exceed, and it doesn't have to be 414,676, but, I think it's a little harsh to go at 304,909. Phil, I'm sorry.
You know, I respect the intent of the 304 number, but I think it is a little harsh, so I think something more along the lines of what Eric originally suggested. You know, just the reality is that there has been, many kinds of inflation.
So is the suggestion that we have 304,909 if there is no signed agreement by town meeting, or up to 414 with a signed agreement?
I think what I'm just.
No.
No.
Eric was saying
304,
7%.
7.5% increase.
327,777.
I think it's 336, 336,027, am I right?
Ally.
What is it, Ally?
What is it?
Numbers 327,777.
With 7.5% or 7%?
7.5%.
Three, how much again?
327,777.18.
Do you want me to
I
withdraw?
move to withdraw my last motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne, Michelle,
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Milena,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, so are we trying for a motion for 327,777? Is that
Feel
correct?
free to round that number.
Without the 18 cents? Very good. Does it still have the caveat that there must be a signed agreement or not?
Not to exceed, I think is all.
Well, the thing is also the contract begins July 1st. So, you have to remember, if this passes at town meeting, that's all I can spend for a contract. It cannot exceed that cost at all. Otherwise, it would require another town meeting.
So my question that I had before to you is what gives you a stronger negotiating position? To have an up to number or to have a number that we're giving you?
I would prefer just a number.
The number that we have
I
come
would
up
prefer
with.
a number because that gives me actually more ability to think outside the box.
And no contingency for the, oh, sorry.
No, apologize. I would just, this is complicated, but I think we're allocating money for SDA. I think it's the town manager's responsibility to allocate that money in a way that she deems to be appropriate for the municipality. And what she's saying, big picture, the way I hear it, is that she doesn't want to be allocating this money to an outside party without a contract. So she's on that already. And I don't know if we can get involved with that right now.
So should we put a contingency for a signed agreement
Well,
with the
it'll
town?
always be contingent, like, you can't just, well.
Well, we have in years past.
I think she's kind of changing that model. She says, we need a contract, independent of what number we approve, she's saying we need a contract.
The other option is actually not naming the agency in
I
here.
thought of
It's
that.
for ambulance services regardless of who it is. And it's not going straight to Southern Berkshire Ambulance LLC. It is just for ambulance services.
For ambulance services.
And it cannot exceed 327,777.18.
And we're gonna round it to 777.
Okay, all right, but yeah, so we can omit, because this hasn't been published yet, we can omit the actual,
Contingency.
because the vendor shouldn't actually be labeled.
All right.
Normally, if you put this out to bid, you wouldn't have it on.
Well, and normally also we say it's for tree cutting services,
Yeah.
right? Tree services, we don't say it's going to a specific vendor for tree
Okay.
services.
I make a motion to recommend approval of Article 18 to authorize funding to an ambulance service for $327,777.
Shouldn't we say not to exceed?
Do we say not to exceed?
I think we want to say not to exceed.
However it is, if it's,
Let me restate it. Motion to recommend approval of Article 18 to authorize funding to an ambulance service not to exceed $327,777.
Perfect.
Second.
Anne,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Madonna,
Aye.
Milena,
Hi.
and I am an aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Second. Just, I'm gonna vote against this, because I think we're not giving them enough. I think 7% is not enough. I think that's gonna be a problem, but that's their problem, is just, I think someone needs to just say that. So, Phil,
Aye.
so it passes
Passes.
3-1.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move ahead. Community Preservation Fund Reserves and Appropriation, any questions? It's already been recommended by the
yes.
CPC, so we don't even have to deal with that.
So we don't have to
No,
approve it.
it doesn't, it's a CPC
Yeah, we
recommendation.
don't vote on it, do we?
No,
And we don't vote on Article 20 either?
correct.
Right, because we already did that previously.
So next is Article 21, accept MGLC 37A, increase of fee limit.
Which article we on 20?
21.
21.
Oh.
Yeah, you can make that motion.
I make a motion to
Just let
approve
us-
Article 21 to accept MGLC 37A increase of fee limit.
Do I have a second?
We don't
Any
vote on
discussion?
this one.
All in favor, let's see, Phil. Ben.
Nice.
Eric.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Seasonal communities.
I make a motion to approve Article 22, seasonal community.
Discussion. Bill? No, we're voting.
No, aye.
I won't be up there, you know. Ed?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous. Brush Hill Culvert?
This is both?
No.
Just.
I make a motion to approve Article 23, Brush Hill Culvert.
No, this is just easements for Brush Hill Culvert.
That's right,
It's
so
been
on each
changed.
page, you'll see that I've identified.
Divide who it is, yeah,
Yeah, at the bottom.
So I make a motion to approve Article 23 for easements of Brush Hill Culvert.
Second.
Discussion? Vote, Bill? Aye. Ben?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And aye. Next is the home rule petition authority membership. This is to do with, the housing authority,
That's correct.
which we talked about. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve Article 24, Home Rule Petition Housing Authority membership.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Vote, Bill?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And aye. Article 25 is both boards, the marijuana court order. Do I have a motion from you?
I make a motion to recommend approval of Article 25 marijuana court order to see if the town will appropriate and transfer from free cash $5,026,008 to fund the fiscal year 2026 court judgment on this amount.
Do we have to have the 44 cents in there?
Yep, you sure
You
do.
didn't do
That's
it.
that's the court.
I move to recommend approval of the marijuana court order for the town to appropriate and transfer from free cash $5,026,008.44 to fund the fiscal year 2026 court judgment, line 01122-57600. Do I have a second? Anne?
Aye.
Michelle?
Although I hate to do it, it is a court order, aye.
Madonna and Elena, and I'm an aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, Bill?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Next is marijuana settlement. It's just a different, it's not a court order, but it's.
I move to recommend approval of Article 26, a marijuana settlement for the town to vote to appropriate and transfer from free cash $118,014.16 for the purpose of reimbursing Great Barrington Retail, Inc. for certain payments made to the town as community impact fees. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anne?
Aye.
And
Michelle?
again, I hate doing this, but it's a, yes, aye.
Madonna?
Aye.
Melena?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
For the select board, I make the same motion.
Second.
Bill?
Aye.
Ben? Eric?
Aye.
And if I'm correct on this, I did get through.
Yes.
So let's go to, let me get the citizen speak. See, oh, where is it here? Amanda.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again. I know it's been another long night. I just wanted to put my co-chair hat of the Affordable Housing Trust on, and let you know that, in addition to the quarterly reports that we provide to, the CPC on CPA fund use, we also, all of our spending requires a vote by the trust. This happens in a meeting and there is a record of it. And I am also always happy to walk anybody through votes on spending and our current status on any of the funds we've received and what we have used them for. It's a matter of public record.
Next is James Garzone.
James Garzone, 84 North Plain Road. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Rich especially, it was great you helping out with the motions and helping Eric. Three things. One, Milena, so happy you brought up the school budget. It's an albatross in our community. I have also attended these finance committees, and I can tell you, I agree. It's been very combative. It's been very, they don't want to answer questions. It's not Dr. Dillon. So I want to say he's never been rude or opposing any questions, but other people in the finance committee have just pushed back. I've been on many of those calls and they don't want to hear it. It's what they say, and there's no other opinion to be heard. So I agree with you, number one. Number two, HWW. We spent over $66,000 in legal fees. There's another $75,000 being budgeted. That's over $50,000 already. We've been at this for years. I don't understand why we can't move forward already. And I know Liz said it's going to come out in the next day or two. I can't wait to hear what's happening. And three, I keep on talking about the GB Fire District. You know, that's another huge tax bill that we receive that they have no purview. Again, it's just what they say. You know, we should bring them into the conversation like we want to bring the school committee into the conversation. We need oversight over all these items that are just driving our taxes higher and higher without any say. We've been at this for weeks and months regarding the municipal budget, but it's such a small portion of the overall tax bill. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
You too.
Jim Bailey.
Thanks, Jim Bailey, Housatonic, and thanks everybody. You guys doing a great job. Steve, I got a quick question for you on the school budget. What happens if a voter at town meeting made a proposal that rather than accept the 7.5% increase, we only accepted a 4% increase of the school budget for a total of $23,097.930? Would that impact? What would that do, I guess?
I'm not supposed to answer questions, but I would check with the moderator. But as far as I know, the school budget cannot be changed on this town meeting floor.
Okay, thank you. Secondly, my
I thought I got off quick on Jim.
yeah, you didn't get off easy. So the town manager said it, I mean, perfectly. The town is changing, and it has changed. It's changed since 2018, and I'm going to reiterate it. If we took a vote today on the Community Preservation Act, I can guarantee you it would not have passed. We need to reconsider it. If
Yeah, I didn't do it. My hands are here.
Jim?
Uh-oh. No, he's there.
He's there.
Audio is not.
Do you want to go up and try re-promoting him, Steve? Yes, I do re-promote, yeah. Oh. Oh.
Uh-oh. Jim, can you unmute? Well, hopefully he'll come back, and I do mean that. Is there anyone from the two boards who want to speak? Michelle, go ahead.
He declined to be promoted.
Oh, do you want to go back?
Go ahead. He's
Are
not
you
up.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to talk about the Shaw Bridge, which was taken out of the budget. As I said, full disclosure, I live on Division Street. One side of me, there's a sinkhole, Division Street. I won't go into detail about that. That's Shaw Bridge. If you look at the report, page 5 of the report that's in the binder. Now, keep in mind that this is a bridge that's been removed from our budget. it states the severe major deficiencies require the repairs to be, quote, this is their quote, prioritized as soon as possible. So what we're saying is we're not going to address this. But an engineering report, and this is from 2017, that bridge has deteriorated a lot from 2017. We're gonna go, well, we'll roll the dice. Maybe we'll have a sinkhole on either side here or whatever. That bridge is in rough shape. And I just want to go on the record saying it's right in black and white. We were talking about priorities. When an engineering report says, now I'm not saying that there are other things that can be set aside for now. I'm not saying the whole 9 yards, but I do strongly feel that the items in the report that are considered severe or major deficiencies should be addressed. If they're not addressed, I have witnesses, vehicles far exceeding the 29-ton weight limit are going over that bridge, is to secure that bridge so heavy overloaded trucks aren't going over in order to stabilize it. So cars, because if that had happened on Division Street Bridge, we wouldn't be in a hole on that bridge either. So I'm going on the record that I just pray to God nothing happens on that bridge. Because from what I understand, on the Division Street Bridge, it was a school bus that discovered the sinkhole.
Anyone else? I'm gonna try, Eileen's got her hand up, let's see if that works. Eileen, just unmute yourself.
I have a completely different question. I was wondering when this information will be on the website and where the information on the proposed budget that was presented, Tuesday night? Feels like ages ago. Where that is. Liz sent it to me, so I have it, but I can't find it on the website.
It's on the page, the budget page, which I gave you links, and then I put additional links in other pages.
I just found it.
Perfect.
I looked earlier today and I could not find it. Okay.
I'm only hanging, Eileen.
And this will get up there.
The slideshow and everything, yeah, I do need to make the changes, to the draft warrant, and I will mark it draft for the public, because it's still tidying up for the language, because town council also needs to review this, so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but it will, the draft will be.
Okay,
Yes.
you might also want to take out the line that says public hearing is April 14th. Under key upcoming dates.
And that does raise, so are we meeting on the 14th or we don't meet?
No, we're done. Jim, I'm gonna give you one more chance to see if you can get on.
Just gotten used to you guys said that. Oh, good, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks again, Steve. I guess my computer battery life has a 3.5 hour limit.
Oh.
So,
you can finish, Jim.
Like I said, I just want to reiterate the need to remove whatever we can that is not necessary, not needs. Wants, we're beyond the wants. We're at the point where we have to focus on needs, and we need to reduce our taxes. And if we can do it by removing even just a percentage of that CPA, if not the entire thing, I think it really needs to be considered. In 2018, we were in a much different position than we are today. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Charlie Ferris. Just unmute yourself, Charlie.
Hi, thank you very much, and thanks to both boards for patiently working through all these major issues. I just wanted to take an opportunity to speak on the topic of the citizens petition relating to the real estate tax exemption program. I know that the board is not voting on this tonight, but I just want to bring this topic front and center to the board now. It will very possibly come back to them in several months. Um, my belief is that the RTE program is counterproductive on a macroeconomic basis to Great Barrington. It raises taxes on second homeowners, also high value homeowner retirees who are on fixed income. And essentially, it's over a long term, it's going to force buyers and real estate investors into other towns that are already nearly half, whose tax rates are half the level of Great Barrington. And therefore, our tax base will grow at a slower basis because investment is going elsewhere. So on a macro level, it harms the town. On an individual level, it attempts to transfer hundreds of millions of dollars of tax value um, to a very small group of individuals. There are not enough second homeowners to justify this type of transfer. It works on the Cape where 60, 70, 80% of the homeowners are second homeowners, and the impact is negligible on second homeowners. We all want to pay lower taxes, as Mr. Garzone just emphasized right before me. Um, but this program is going to grant tax benefits to probably 1,000 homeowners who want to pay lower taxes but don't actually need because it is not a means-tested program. We've heard of Taxachusetts, we're creating Tax-a-Barrington if this program gets adopted. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I know everybody's tired and would like to go home. I just wanted to take this opportunity to emphasize to the board that this program is not in the interest of our town, and it would be a horrible precedent to saddle uh, second homeowners who are the lifeblood of the Mahawi, the Triplex, the Berkshire South, um, so many organizations which make this such a great town to live in, and we're going to turn around and slap them in the face and say, guess what? You get to pay extra for the privilege of living here. You're already paying a stepped up amount of taxes because your houses may be higher than the average, and now you have to pay more. Anyway, I just wanted to emphasize this. This is, I'm sure, a topic that will get a lot of talk at the town meeting. But thank you for your time, and I just wanted to put in my 2 cents after sitting through the 3.5 hours here. Thanks.
Thanks, Charles.
Thank you.
I see no other, any media time? Unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.